Hello and welcome to this bonus episode of Arcade Couch. First of, was it three? There's going to be the first of a couple for the week. Talking about E3. Today we're going to be talking about Xbox and Bethesda. They had a shared show. Square Enix's show, and I don't know anything else if anyone wants to. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to add a whole bunch of indie shows into possibly make that a tomorrow thing. But otherwise, joining me, Ashley Hobler.
Hey, John, excited to be here, and I think there's still a chance Starfield might come to PlayStation. You know, I don't think they've ruled it out completely. You know,
you're wrong, but I'll say here, Kieran Marchant.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Ashley admitted to being jealous of something Xbox on a social media platform, everyone. I'm going to fucking screenshot that and put it on the t-shirt.
Yeah, Ash, what was that about?
Okay.
You're supposed to
just being honest.
Stay in character while you're on Twitter.
I don't know what to talk about.
Keep kayfabe alive.
Xbox fan.
Look,
Always been loving the Xbox and the Game Pass.
I'm surprised Arcade Couch Ashley wasn't watching it and a vein popping out of his head and getting really red every time it came up with Game Pass on the screen. And every time they're 27 out of these 30 games are all coming to Game Pass.
I'll admit, did they need to put that end screen on every single?
Yes, they did.
They could have just had a little thing in the corner.
I don't know if you're aware, but those trailers are posted separately after the show. So people watch them without watching the whole show.
They didn't have to put them in the presentation. You could have saved 20 minutes.
No, that's more
time.
Work. That's more work. That's more work. All right, so let's get into it. Xbox and Bethesda kicked off 3 a.m. Australian time.
Fuck.
So we're recording this at 7 p.m. on Monday. I've been up since 2:45 this morning, so it's been a very long. It reached about 3 p.m. and I was like, I feel like I've been awake for days. You know, I had that moment where it felt like the day should be wrapping up, like it should be nighttime, but it wasn't. Anyway, at the 3 a.m. at a ridiculous o'clock, they had their showcase. Of course, the big notable thing about this is it is an Xbox and Bethesda showcase. They sort of combined, and we didn't know what that was going to look like, if they were going to split it into segments, Bethesda, you get your little 15 minutes, and then Xbox does that kind of thing. But no, that's not how it went at all. It was very much hey, we're just sharing a space and we're working together and whatever else. And it's notable that the show actually opened with a Bethesda game and it ended with a Bethesda game. It didn't open and end with an Xbox or anything like that. So I thought that was...
They're one in the same now, so...
Yeah, I know, but people still... They kept the name separate. They didn't call it Xbox show. Maybe
until
in a couple of years.
Ghostwire Tokyo comes out, they're still...
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess.
So we're going to break down all the games in a second and give a little bit more thoughts on them. But Ash, what were your overall thoughts on the Xbox show? And like we did for the main podcast yesterday, thumbs rating, double up, one down, or double down?
It was pretty good. I don't think there was much wrong with the showcase.
The struggle.
You know? It struggled to nitpick. I think obviously there was some odd pacing issues. I think they, we'll get to it later, but I think they focused on Horizon for too long. Purely because of the pacing of the rest of the show, where they didn't do a deep dive on any other game but Horizon. But, opened with Starfield, confirmed that is still a thing. And then teased a couple of other cool projects, and then ended with a cool new project from Arcane. So
I thought he was going to say ended with a fridge, which was pretty cool, but
also true.
Did it? I missed that part.
Okay. The show actually technically closed with a trailer for the fridge, mini fridge that's coming.
I mean, that just boosts it a little bit more, I guess.
What are you rating it?
2 thumbs up.
Yes. Oh, this is delicious. This is lip smacking goodness right here.
Kieran.
Nobody can call me biased. I'm completely fair and honest.
Yeah, right.
Reasonable.
Kieran, what was your overall thoughts on the show?
I thought the show was great. I thought the show did exactly what Xbox needed it to do. It showed a whole bunch of games and it was good quality games. It wasn't like several okay games and then a bunch of filler. It was solid games with a solid direction for everything. Showcasing everything that's coming to Game Pass and kind of continuing to double down on Game Pass, no matter how much of a failure Game Pass is apparently eventually going to be, speculated by one Ashley Hobley.
It's killing the industry.
It is. It's exciting. I think some of my favorite trailers were in the show that I've seen in a long time for video games, which was great. And I'm very excited for everything moving forward. I think this is definitely a 2 thumbs up kind of show. And it is, it's great. It's very good.
Yeah, I think this is Xbox's best show that I can remember in quite a few years. It's like,
ever since, I think this is the best one since the Fallout 4 show.
Probably.
Because that Fallout 4 show was pretty.
And that's like quite a while ago. So
the first one, yeah.
It's been a while since Xbox has had an actually good to great show, and I thought this one was pretty great. I didn't have any particular problems with the pacing. I thought the only dip for me, interest-wise, when they were talking about Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online, but it was only a couple of minutes, so and I'm like, whatever, good to have that. That's part of the thing, like people like those games, so or else they wouldn't still be putting content for them. So that was just the one section where I had to zone out. It wasn't too long or whatever, so I can't complain too much about that. Otherwise, it was more or less a conference to... It's less about Xbox and Bethesda and more just about Game Pass, but that is their model going forward, and you can tell the way everything's designed from the outset to push that as the main product of Xbox. From the go, they're like 27 of the 30 games in the show are going to be on Xbox Game Pass day one, and just so you know, that's how we're setting up the show. So from go, you're like, fuck, like, all right, let's go. And then I don't mind them having that trailer at the little logo at the end, just to remind you. It's like, because you'll watch a really good trailer, and you're like, fuck, that looks great.
Be like,
and
fuck, what console is this on?
Well, no, it's not the console.
No,
it's the Game Pass thing.
Where am I going to be able to play this?
The thing is, it's not only like that end screen does nothing for current people who already have Game Pass. It's just reminding you, hey, Game Pass is fantastic value for money. Keep going with your subscription. Great job. Whereas I think it does a great job of selling.
Could have saved time and just told you what was not on Game Pass.
No, because you don't want to focus on a negative. You want to focus on positives. If you want to build and bring...
It's all about time. How many trailers could they fit in if they...
Thought you said you weren't going to be nitpicking. But I think it does a great job of bringing more people on to go and grab Game Pass and go grab even just the Xbox Series S or an old Xbox One X if you want, or whatever. Just go grab that and get Game Pass and jump in on it.
Yeah. I also thought for the most part there was a good variety here. There was obviously with Bethesda involved, you could say there's a lot of shootery type stuff or whatever, but that's just kind of what they do. Maybe without Fable, like it felt a little bit like it was leaning one direction, but then you had like the Animal Game Shop or whatever for a little bit of family stuff. You had Forza there, but so they didn't all feel too like shooty sci-fi action type stuff, although that was sort of a lot of the variety here, but that's fine. And also that's kind of what Xbox has always been known as, the first person shooter box and that sort of stuff, so not too shocking there. And surprisingly, a lot of the games shown here either have solid release dates or were given like it's coming this year, it's coming summer, American summer or whatever, so we're still waiting for solid release dates on a lot of this stuff, but for the most part, the stuff that you cared about, a lot of it is supposed to be coming this year, and if it's not coming this year, it's supposed to be coming next year, which I still think's okay, because people forget that E3 for the most part usually was like, here's 1 or 2 games that are coming this year that you probably already knew about, and for the most part, E3's always been like, here's shit that's coming next year, like it's never really been here's stuff that you'll see in 6 months. That was sort of a thing started maybe by Bethesda with fucking Fallout, like until...
With Fallout 4.
Yeah, because it used to just be like, other than like, the key things you'd know about, like Assassin's Creed, you'd see it at E3 and that'd come up this year, or like a Call of Duty, you'd see that at E3 and that'd come out this year. But for the most part, if you're seeing a brand new game or anything, you didn't expect it to come out the year it was shown at E3. So, all right, let's get into the games. And yeah, it started off with Starfield, which did have its release date leak overnight, or if you went to sleep, I guess. Like Kieran stayed up.
It was just before. It was like half an hour beforehand
Yeah.
or something. It wasn't even that long. Like it was pretty short.
The Washington Post got a little bit itchy with the post trigger finger there, and leaked the release date accidentally. So, but nonetheless, Starfield was confirmed to be releasing on the 11th, 2022. So next year. It's really weird to have a exact release date for a game that's over a year out.
It's I don't like. It's like the only thing that worries me. I don't like that at all.
What are the odds that it comes out that date? Do you reckon?
I would say pretty solid, to be honest.
I think it's pretty solid considering Fallout 76 didn't get pushed back, and Bethesda's very well known for just sticking to release dates, despite how
that's a concern.
That's my concern. That is exactly my concern.
They're under Xbox now, though, so I think as much as they would like to say that they've still got free control, there's definitely a level of accountability there that they didn't have before.
Which I mean, hope so.
It's the studio that put out Crackdown 3.
Yeah, but that wasn't like broken.
But that was after a number of.
It was just a shit game. Like it wasn't a broken mess. It was just
it wasn't good, and that was after it got delayed a number of times anyway.
Yeah,
and I think it got to the point where probably Microsoft and Xbox stepped in and said, "Hey guys, you need to put this game out. There's we can't keep delaying it."
Yeah.
I think I was. I can't remember the last game that had a long-term release date that actually either hit that release date or succeeded on that release date. So. I think maybe I just have like post-traumatic stress a little bit from Cyberpunk with their, Cyberpunk's release date was out well in advance. I think it was almost about the same time, maybe a little bit later.
To be fair, that's a game that got announced as gold and then still got delayed. So that's a really rarity.
Yes. But on the other hand, I'm really excited for Starfield. I think it's been so long since we've got a proper Bethesda game. Yes, they released Fallout 76, but I think Fallout 76 is... it was a weird flash of inspiration for them, I guess, that led them there. But I think this is back to doing what Bethesda do, which is hopefully great RPGs and stories and narratives.
I'm keen to learn more about Starfield because, I like Fallout 4, I like Skyrim, I like old Bethesda games. I haven't really enjoyed much of Bethesda's open world stuff for quite some time, so I can't get excited off this trailer. I've seen people put it in their top 3, most anticipated games that they've seen at E3 so far. Those sorts of lists, and I'm like, off what? Off
There's
this
nothing
trailer?
there.
Off this trailer?
It's a teaser. You don't know what the game is.
And maybe I don't know. I just can't.
It could purely be a exploration game, no combat. Sure, he's holding a gun, but that could just be to blow stuff out of the way.
Well, it's definitely not going to be that. But we get it's fucking.
You don't know. It could.
That would be a real swerve for Bethesda to lose a lot of their fan base. I think, but
Bethesda new IP first time in 20 years. I mean, still have it.
How do we feel about the other piece of information that was with this? Xbox Series XS and Windows PC exclusive. Not shocking, but everyone kept being like,
they didn't include the word
maybe
forever.
Well, it's interesting consider this was the weird thing for me was the fact that this was the Bethesda showcase, but Deathloop was not mentioned at all.
No.
For this. Deathloop
it was never going to be.
Deathloop, Ghostwire are only ever going to be mentioned in PlayStation.
It was never going to be. So the moment Starfield was at this show, it's like, no, that's Xbox exclusive.
And look,
there's no way.
I don't care, and I think that's the right decision for them to make because as much as I like Philly playing friends with everyone, in certain places, I think if you're doing your E3 presentation, now's the time you go, no, we're not showing the fucking games that are releasing on PlayStation. And so I'm glad they didn't show Ghostwire Tokyo or Deathloop or anything like that, the stuff that is going to be on these other platforms. No, fuck no. It's your time to shine, Phil. Put the hammer down. No, Bethesda.
Which I think behind closed doors that was the intention.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Xbox is very lucky that they're in the position that they know that PlayStation will be the company that is harder to work with than they will.
Yeah.
And they have maneuvered themselves into said position.
So who knows?
What do you mean by that?
The fact that whenever any kind of crossplay or conversation or anything comes out,
Nobody cares about crossplay.
People are quite constantly bitching about PlayStation and Sony and how much of a hassle it is.
Look, Sony doing their thing.
Crossplay is garnish.
Garnish?
People think they want it, but they don't really want it.
Right.
Crossplay is garnish, right? Okay.
I was going to say I haven't heard that one, but also sure. Hope you choke on that water, you fucking.
Maybe I will.
So the next game was STALOKKK Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. Full gameplay, or not like a proper gameplay demo, but like a gameplay demo trailer that showed a bunch of different types of gameplay, environments, weapons, sort of set up the story, introduced a bunch of characters. This looks very, very good. This very pretty looking video game, if I do say so myself. Like, there are several times where you're like, damn, how pretty can they make the worst possible scenario to look good, you know? Like,
what's interesting about this is Stalker comes out at a very interesting time compared to when it was originally come out, because Stalker 2 is coming out at a point where Metro is a thing, and Metro is a successful gaming franchise.
Not huge though, to be fair.
It's not huge, but it's still there, and people will look at Stalker 2 and see Metro in that game. But at the same time, I think this looks fantastic. I think it looks really good. It looks solid. I love the attention to detail. I think it reminds me of them. I think even with the success of Escape from Tarkov on the PC scene, I think that influences this game to go even more double down on stuff like having the whole game in Russian and stuff like that, and only having subtitles and everything. I think this is in a very good spot to come out and be fantastic and do a great job of continuing the Stalker franchise.
I just hope it's easier, because I've played the original Stalker and I could never finish it because it was too fucking hard. So
I heard that a lot this week.
What, for hard games or Stalker?
For Stalker, yeah.
Oh, really? On different shows?
Or on different places, yeah. Okay, Michael Hubert, Easy Allies said.
Oh, really?
As well, so.
Yeah, it was quite a hard game, and like it wasn't like, oh, the boss fights are hard. It was just all the game systems and how easily you could die and everything like that. It was just quite a lot to wrap your head around. I don't think it'll be that hard, because that having as hardcore as it was, that attracted an audience, but it also kept away obviously a mainstream audience. And I doubt this is going to have that. Or if it does, I presume it'll be a difficulty option to like increase the odds of like, you know, getting infected, or like you need to like heal certain stuff more, you know, like all that sort of stuff. But yeah, Ash, what do you think of Stalker?
It's not for me, but yeah, very visually interesting game. Interesting timing, obviously, it being announced. Obviously, like Kieran said, Metro came out not long ago, but it seemed like on a lot of those indie showcases, there seemed to be a lot of Stalker
related
spiritual successes or whatever.
There's always Chernobyl games. There's always been Chernobyl.
Yeah. Chernobyl is so hot right now, like Chernobyl was.
Wow. There's always been a lot of.
That's so bad.
Well, I mean, a lot of these games are based off books and stuff.
Yep.
And they're always Russian books, because obviously in Russia, Chernobyl's a big part of their history, like this catastrophic event. So there's a lot of literature written around it truthfully, and then also like alternate reality, and then you know, like America writes about their events, and we write about, I don't know, alternate Ned Kelly. I don't fucking know, you know, like it's
alternate Ned Kelly, right?
But I mean, that's why there's so much material. It's because, like, obviously it's a big part of their history, so they write a lot of about it, you know, because it's important. And related countries, you know, that's why the countries surrounding them also have a lot of games and stories based on it and that sort of stuff. So, but I'm very keen. I want to find out more as to the difficulty of the stuff and the actual game systems, and like, am I going to be spending half the game in my inventory system and being pissed off I can't carry all this stuff, and you know, all this sort of stuff. Like, as long as it's not too hardcore, then I'm 100% down. But otherwise, this trailer was just really good, because it is a really pretty trailer. Like, there's that point where they come out and there's like the billboards being like shot with all that electricity and shit, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, give me some of that. Juicy. All for it.
Also, I'll say bold choice going full Russian, and I would not be surprised if they cave in, like say, hey, we've got an English version.
I would be personally, I'd be disappointed if they did that.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
Especially if
it's a lot of effort, but how many people are going to be turned off because they have to read subtitles?
You would think if they were
how
going
many
to do
people
that,
don't watch foreign movies because they have to watch subtitles for 2 hours, and yet you'll play a game that you have to read subtitles for 16 hours.
How many people turn on subtitles when the game is in English? I would say it's a decent percentage of people turn on subtitles still, even when the game is in the language they speak.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But also, if you think they were going to do that, they would, have that prepared for the Western trailer that is presented at their main.
They want to make it look super Russian.
Coming out April 22nd, 2022.
That's coming to PS4, 5 as well? Or
nope.
Do we know?
No. PC, Xbox.
Xbox exclusive.
Console exclusive, yeah.
Okay.
Day one Game Pass.
Just checking.
You love to know that. So then we got a trailer for Back for Blood. This was ahead, of course, later in the day. They had that Warner Brothers event. It was only like 10 minutes, that whole thing. There wasn't really much to it.
It was just showcasing the PvE.
Yeah, it was not PvP mode, more so than the PvE mode. I think.
No, they showcased the PvP mode in that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In the 10-minute thing, it was a PvP, and this one was on the PvE. Yeah. But for people who don't know and can't keep up with what the fuck we was just talking about, Back for Blood is, of course, like from the people who did Left 4 Dead. It's basically a spiritual successor. It plays and looks exactly like Left 4 Dead or an updated one. Except, I think the big important thing, as much as Ash hates to hear the word, is it is launching on Game Pass, which is important for a game like this because it's just going to help it grow that initial audience who may be like, I don't know if I want to spend $100 on this or that sort of thing. So I think that'll help because I just don't think people are as likely to spend money on these sorts of games as they may have 10 years ago when Left 4 Dead 2 came out and stuff like that. So it's coming out October 12th. I'm keen to play it if other people are playing it, but I'm keen because I enjoy these games. I enjoyed Left 4 Dead playing it all the time with my friends who had an Xbox back in the day, so I'm all for it. Karen?
I completely agree. I had Left 4 Dead 2 imported here because I don't know if it got banned or if it was just, I think it either got banned or it was still a cheap. It was refused and then they had to edit it, and then the edit made it so that whenever all the zombies dropped to the floor, they would just magically disappear. Because you can have blood on it. I had so I had the actual version of the Left 4 Dead 2. But I'm really excited for this. I signed up when this was first announced. I actually signed up for like the alpha and everything, so I've been getting the emails and kind of keeping up with Back 4 Blood because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think Game Pass is the first cornerstone of this being successful. I think the second is them hitting crossplay. I think if it comes out with crossplay between PC and Xbox, I think that's fucking gold. I think they do.
I think they announced that.
Did they announce it? Because I can't remember if I caught that or not.
Of course it's going to be crossplay with PC.
Well, you would think so, and I'd hope so, and I think that's super important for them to do so.
I do know one thing they've confirmed, which is that one really cool thing they've got to make sure everyone can play together is they did announce that, say I've brought the DLC, like a DLC map 6 months from now.
Yes, I did see
and
this.
No one else has brought it, and user teamed up with me. As long as one of us or the leader has brought the DLC, yous can all play on that map. You're not going to be like, oh, we can't queue into this map because you got it. And the same in PvP, something about like if people have unlocked stuff, you'll get it unlocked while you play with them. Like doing a lot of stuff to help keep the game balanced in PvP and also keep the PvE co-op stuff fun where it's not like, oh, everyone buy the map, or the expansion.
Which is interesting to find out if they will, considering it's on Game Pass, are they going to have maybe a timed period with the DLCs where you pay for the DLC, or it'll get later on, it'll just get added for free to the
I presume they're just going to charge for the DLCs because there's barely ever had.
That's how they make any money.
There's barely ever been times where they've had DLC as part of the Xbox Game Pass. They usually make money off that stuff. I'm basically ignoring Ash at this point. It's what you got to do, Ken. You just kind of zone out what he says, the rest will be.
It's just funny because he's full of shit.
Fucking call this episode Troll Central by the end of it. Next trailer was Contraband. So, no gameplay shown. This was a straight up announcement / teaser trailer, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know what to make of it other than obviously the name and the fact that what you see in the trailer makes it seem like it's some sort of heist game. Either way, it's coming to Xbox XS, PC, launching day one, Xbox Game Pass. Whenever it comes out, they didn't really give any indication of it. But yeah, did this grab anyone? Because I was like, I don't really...
Cool teaser.
Avalanche, by the way, is
the mind races to what it could potentially be. It would be like a Payday-esque, almost Grand Theft Auto heists kind of game, which could be kind of cool.
But the vibe it gives off is like it's set somewhere.
It's set like South America, or something,
or
something like that.
Yeah,
so it looked like your Avalanche, obviously known for their car combat, could be.
And I'm excited for like Avalanche itself in terms of like their map design and everything, and just the actual gameplay of it. I think it's great that they're getting away from like they're not locked into say a IP like Mad Max with this, that they get to jump into something else and have a play with their full own kind of world and everything to mess around with. I think is really good.
Yeah, I wish they'd just make Mad Max 2.
No, not many people like that game.
Nope. No, that game did not sell well at all, sadly.
No, but people like it.
I liked it. I got the platinum, but I wouldn't say it was a good game. It was a game I enjoyed playing. Don't know if I'd say it was.
Yeah, but a sequel would be improved on the original.
Yeah. All right. So that's Contraband. Next, they had Sea of Thieves. So they've announced that so apparently they've been doing this lately, and obviously I don't usually keep up with Sea of Thieves. They've been doing a bunch of updates that add more single player focused content to it to help keep players interested because they'd sort of got bored or like they couldn't keep up with the actual core Sea of Thieves content, so they tried adding single player stuff, and that's what this is apparently. So Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life is a weird thing in which they've teamed up with Disney to add Jack Sparrow into the game, and it's going to be like a single player campaign thing for Sea of Thieves. So that's a thing.
I thought it was pretty cool, honestly. Like I think it's cool that Sea of Thieves is still going. I was, even though it's not something I played, I really like Sea of Thieves and think it's a really cool concept and idea, and wish it was something I'd put more time into and played and hung out with people on.
I know people like it, but I was like, Jack Sparrow, wow, okay. Like,
yeah, look, it was interesting that it was Jack Sparrow and Johnny Depp, and like it's so related to Johnny Depp and how close to that character is for him. But hey, they're doing it. They're using that IP, and I think it's
somebody should
grow that way. Somebody should, and the fact that it comes out in a little over a week.
No, wait, they're doing a reboot. I think
comes out June 22nd.
June 22nd, and it's free,
and
which I think is fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, more to do with supporting this game. Cool. As maybe one of the gems on Game Pass that a lot of people have found.
Question: Did Jack Sparrow look better in this or better in Kingdom Hearts 3?
I think it looks better in this to me.
Different art style, so I don't really know. Like, I think he suits this and he suited Kingdom Hearts. I don't really know.
Yeah, probably.
Just different strokes for different folks, I guess, or whatever.
And it isn't, just to say, like, it isn't just Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow is the most prominent thing, but there are other Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a Pirates of the Caribbean story.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's not just they've whacked Jack Sparrow randomly into a Sea of Thieves storyline.
No, it's a full-on...
There's no Will Turner or Keira Knightley, but...
No. But old mate, whatever, the bad guy, I don't remember.
Davy Jones,
yeah, he's in the trailer. The next thing...
Is, what's his name?
You've got it.
The first mate, his first mate as well.
Nicola, the Australian, Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush, alright, yeah, cool.
I
don't know. I don't know. I only watched the trailer
I
once.
don't believe so. No, why would Jeffrey Rush in it? It's not Jeffrey. What? No,
he was the bad guy.
He was the bad guy.
Yeah, he's Barbosa, but I don't think he would. No, he's not in this one, or not that we saw.
No.
Also, Jeffrey Rush has got his own problems. The
next thing they showed was Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is coming to Xbox Game Pass. It's out now. I've downloaded it to my console. I'll probably never start it because I've got a million other things to do, but it's there so that if I ever finally want to play it, I finally can. So now all the Yakuza games, or all of the
all in,
the core line,
all in on the Yakuza.
They're all on Xbox Game Pass. You can play the entire thing.
They really love the Yakuza. Japanese people.
They must be doing really well on Game Pass for them to go. Let's get Like a Dragon on now. Like, don't wait until it's cheaper. Let's pay the money to get it on now. Yeah.
Well, it's been more than 12 months since it came out.
Has it?
Xbox
No, it
360.
has. No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was like October last year.
Yeah. I thought it was only like a month or so before the next gen console.
I thought it was. Yeah. No, I thought it was released in line with the next gen
I might be
console.
wrong.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was one of the only things that was out.
Again, I'm remembering
that it came out in Japan. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really
Just to clarify again, Ash, Japan releases games at different times to us sometimes.
Especially when it's Japanese games.
However, the next Yakuza will release day and date worldwide.
Yeah. So.
Because the dude who I can't remember his name, but the guy who's in charge of the franchise, the head dude, in an interview last week was like, "Man, doing this like localized worldwide things, fuck day. Like, like the extra work he's having to do."
So, but yeah.
So there you go. Like a Dragon. Game Pass, if you want to play it, there you go. We then got Battlefield 2042 first gameplay look. Of course, they did do the reveal last week, which was a cinematic trailer, and they had some outlets who got coverage, and they explained some of the stuff, and they did that sort of reveal stuff. But so we got 3 minutes of gameplay. It showed them flying into a city. It showed ground warfare, air warfare, tanks, helicopters, jets, the stuff you usually see in Battlefield games. However, the big sort of, there's 2 points I want to highlight in this trailer, like key Battlefield things. As someone who likes the Battlefield games, right? And I'm excited for this. I've been saying for a while, I'm pretty keen to get a Battlefield game into my system. So the first is they've got this weather system. Like, this is a big part of this game. Each map is going to have different things. I don't know what all of them are, but of course in this one it's this giant cyclone, tornado, whatever it's called, sandstorm thing. So that's floating around, and that's whipping up people if you get too close to it. Obviously, this is really cool for a number of factors. It means tanks can't just park and camp somewhere on the map. It means snipers can't just park and camp somewhere. I like the way that this weather system and having something constantly moving and being random will potentially cause people to always have to be aware and move and change conditions of what's happening. Like, they have that part in the trailer where people are running inside because it's coming towards them or whatever. I'm like, that's pretty cool to be like, if you're having a fight outdoors, and next second this thing just like changes wind conditions and like starts heading towards you, and you're like, oh fuck, we got to change, we got to head inside now. Like, I think that's pretty cool. And then the other really cool thing that they showcased in this trailer that they did talk about in some of the press releases and preview coverage that people had up last week that I didn't fully wrap my head around, which was this whole thing where you can now change your gun parts or like a couple of them while in game without having to respawn. So there's that part where they enter the elevator and you'll see him like bring up a menu, and he actually changes his scope and he changes like the muzzle and all this sort of stuff without having to respawn as a character. So it means that you could change your scope and everything because you're in like a close quarters condition and you want the different parts for your gun, and then next second you want to be able to shoot further away so you can change your scope and that sort of stuff. Because often you're carrying around 2 guns with different scopes solely because you're like, well, this one's for shooting far, this one's for shooting close, that sort of thing. Also, there's a part here, if you're watching the video version, there's like that part here soon or just before this, and I missed it, where they put fucking TNT on an ATV and like charge it into this helicopter and explode it, and that was pretty fucking badass. I thought this was cool. I'm totally into this, obviously. I can't wait to play this. I like the Battlefield games. It's been a while since I played one because they'd kind of been on a very, I wouldn't say they were all bad, but they were launching quite bad, and they were seeming like they were trying to be too much like Call of Duty and not stick to what made Battlefield. So this one to me looks like them going, all right, let's get back to our roots and try and do something different. Not different based on what's around us, but actually like, what do we think would be cool? And here's what we think would be cool for our game while sticking to what's made our game popular for the X amount of years it's been around. So, Kieran, what do you think of the gameplay?
I'm like super excited for this. I really love this Battlefield in terms of coming back to it, where we've now had a couple Battlefields where it's been set in a more dated time period. I think coming back to this more kind of, it's weird to call this futuristic when it's really only
technically
like
anything
20
a day
out.
a day ahead is the future. So
is a future, but at the same time, it's only like 20 years in advance, so it's not like, we're getting hoverboards anytime soon, so still you can be disappointed with science for that one. But I think this looks great. I love when Battlefield and DICE have the opportunity to make their maps, especially with this, where their maps have so much like awesome verticality. It's not just having a map where there are skyscrapers and you're like, cool, their skyscrapers are there for you to look at and to make the scenery of being in a city, where it's like, no. You can like be like anywhere on those skyscrapers. You could be landing helicopters. There could be people positioned up there. There could be zip lines between them. There could be people inside the buildings. I'm super excited for this. I'm super excited for destructible environments. Battlefield's always been one of those things where I guess when it goes back to these kind of settings and it can fully be Battlefield, I think it excels really well, and I'm excited to play this.
Also, their largest player count ever at 128 players. So that'll be only next gen. It's weird to call it that. That's only PS5, Xbox Series plus PC. The old PS4 and Xbox One get 64 players, which is the thing, and they're apparently designing the maps for those differently. So it's not just the giant maps that they have, or else it would just feel really weird. So I would believe they would
anybody.
No, yeah.
Honestly, I believe that they would section off the map for the console versions. Probably, I'm guessing.
No, the console version, the PS5 and Xbox. The last gen's different. The PS5 and Xbox Series is going to be the same as PC.
Oh, okay.
It's only the past gen that's going to be 64 players because it can't handle the.
Yes, it can't handle everything in the ray tracing and the.
Yeah, and the maps are huge, and apparently they're going to have they're the biggest maps, obviously with the play count and everything. Yeah, what do you think, Ash?
Looks good. Looks cool. Weather effects. Cool tanks and jumping off buildings. I had no fucking idea what was going on. Was it like a death match? Were they trying to accomplish something? It wasn't very clear.
Generally, like Battlefield can have very varied kind of game modes, and a lot of times it could just be like a conquest game mode where it's just literally both players have quote unquote army levels of player lives, and they just go until somebody's got more than the others.
So, if you look at the bottom of this, if you look at the actual gameplay, they never said exactly what mode it is, but if you look at the video, you can see that at the bottom left, it's got the map and it's got the player count. It's possibly just a conquest or a rush mode or something like that. But so in a lot of their their main modes, it's like everyone starts at 400, I guess, tickets on this, or maybe 600, considering they're like halfway. I don't really know, but and then if you capture certain points, it means that if you control them all, the enemies will lose like more tickets. Per death, so if you control all the points, or maybe this is a mode where there is no capture points and it's literally just all out warfare and it's just about getting the most kills.
Maybe it's like zone control in terms of like players physically in those areas.
Yeah, I can't really tell. There are zones at the bottom, like you can see A, B, C, D, E. So the blue team is controlling like three blue points at this point, and so it is some sort of zone control mode. My favorite mode in the Battlefield games are usually the rush modes, though. So that's where you are either playing attackers or defenders, and there's 2 to 3 objectives, maybe more in this game, but and the attacker team has to push to capture those and usually destroy them by placing a bomb. And there's usually like 3 waves to this, and the defenders have to try and stop them. That's usually my favorite one. But there is a variety of different modes to Battlefield games, as well as your typical just deathmatch or that sort of stuff. So, although I think playing those ones in it's like a deathmatch in Battlefield. I'm like, just go play Call of Duty. I don't know, like it's not what I want to play. But I'm keen. October 22nd this year is that one as well. So then we got a 12 minutes trailer. It was only a quick sort of trailer. It's basically announced the release date finally for this game. So it's launching August 19th, 2021. And yes, it's Xbox Game Pass day one as well. This is only on Xbox and PC now, by the way. At least for now. Maybe it'll come to PlayStation later, like Call of the Sea has and a couple other things. But at least for the time.
It's Annapurna, right? So
yeah, it probably will, but it's like I'm not going to wait.
No rush.
I'm not going to wait the X amount of months. I'll just play it. Yeah. I'll just play it on.
Probably play it PC. Yeah.
So, but that's cool. I'm keen.
I tell you what, If I said I love you to somebody and they said back at you, I would be pretty devastated.
How if they said I know? That worked for Harrison Ford.
No, but like the thing is, right? If it's James McAvoy saying back at you, then it's okay, right?
I don't know. Is it?
Why is that okay?
Because it's James McAvoy. He's dreaming.
What? Daisy Ridley's not dreaming?
No, but she didn't say it. If Daisy Ridley said
she
it, you'd be
did.
fine with it as well. Oh, it's the wrong way around. My brain had it, but it's fine. We don't really edit these parts out of the show.
No, we don't. Are you playing this game?
Yeah, I fucking can't wait for this game. I'm so excited for this game. This game looks so cool. I was sold since the first time we saw this game. So to know it's on Game Pass, where once again, don't have to go out and buy it individually. It's just going to be there day one. It's so fucking cool, and having Daisy Ridley, James McAvoy, and Willem Dafoe attached to this just makes it even better. And I don't think it needed those names to already make a fantastic idea and premise. No. Fantastic.
So then we got, talking about release dates we've been waiting a while for, we then got the release date for Psychonauts 2. It is releasing on August 25th, 2021. And yes, of course, Game Pass included day one. Very cool trailer, very colourful, fantastic. Obviously, I've said before how I've never actually played the first one of these. At this stage, I'm never going to. It's just not going to happen.
I get the feeling this game has been built with the idea
with that audience in mind.
I'm hoping so, because I really want to play this. I love 3D, platformer action, mascot type games, obviously. So, I never played the first one because I never had an Xbox back in the day, obviously. So, that's why I missed out, and I've just never had time to actually try and play it. But I'm all about this. This just looks like magical, wonderful, weird, wacky, Double Fine time, I'm all about it. So I can't wait to play this. This looks
the only thing that would have made this better would have been them to announce Jack Black as a character in this game.
There's still time. I've got a month, you know what I'm saying? I've got a month to get a prediction right.
August is stacked, right? I don't think the number of stuff. I think there's a number of stuff either in this or been announced.
I think it was September.
The last couple of days was August and September seem like hella stacked at the moment with just these kinds of games that are kind of almost the perfect kind of games to play in that period where they're not going to take an age to complete. You're going to be able to play them in time before something else is released.
I mean, if I had to guess, it's we just played Ratchet. It's all right, how long Psychonauts 2? 8 to 12 hours? All right, cool. Sounds great to me.
The same with 12 minutes. We're only going to be playing it for 12
minutes. 12 minutes,
so
it's over?
Easily.
Cool, done.
It's 12 minutes and it's going to be
how much was
done.
that? $22 for that? All right, so it was free because it was on Game Pass. I guess I can't complain about the length of the game then. But no, August, September, October are starting to fill up with stuff. That 3-month period is starting to generally fill up with stuff. Ash, do you care for Psychonauts 2?
No, not overly. I think I'll leave it. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
It looks cool. I'm sure it's going to be great for people who love their first game, but yeah.
How about for me, who just wants to play this one? Can you hope I enjoy it?
I'm sure you might like it as well. I don't know.
Right. I thought you was no, you'll fucking hate it.
You're done, Dylan. You are done.
No, the deep lore of Psychonauts will cause you to not be able to.
It's possible.
Jump in.
You really
you
just
didn't play the first game.
You said the sentence, the deep lore of Psychonauts.
Deep lore. Deep lore.
Yeah.
You need to play the first game plus the VR game.
The VR game as well? Okay, fair enough.
Wikipedia. YouTube video. I don't know.
Plus Double Fine's all Double Fine's other games because there's all other little references.
Possibly, yeah. So then Bethesda Games came out and they were like, here's a bunch of stuff that's coming to Game Pass. Today, Arx, Fatalis, Dishonored, Death of the Outside, Doom Eternal, Evil Within 2, Rage, Wolfenstein 2, New Colossus, Fallout, Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, and Fallout 3. And then also they announced that Doom Eternal is getting an upgrade for Xbox Series XX, 60 frames per second mode, including ray tracing, a full 4K mode, and a 120 frames per second mode. The update is coming sometime later in June. So that's good because you need all
you can.
Doom is.
You need the 120 frames for the Marauders, right?
You fucking probably do, to be honest, motherfuckers. I mean, I played it on PC, so I had the frames and I was still dying, so. Fucking wasn't helping me. So, but that's cool. Oh, that's really great. If you haven't played Doom Eternal, fucking fantastic game. I gave it like a 9 or a 9.5 or something like that. So, coming Game Pass looks better. Good shit.
And the first Doom is on Game Pass as well. So if you need to play the whole series, play the whole series.
Yeah, Kieran.
Yeah, me.
I mentioned in my rundown here that Skyrim was mentioned, even though they didn't announce anything. But I just want to mention that for a second, I was like, oh, what? What are they going to do? Like, they brought up the Skyrim logo. I was like, oh, no. What now? Smart fridges? What's it coming to? And then they were like, nah, it's just celebrating its 10th anniversary. And I'm like, what's that mean, though?
You don't think there's going to be a Series X / maybe PS5 version?
I don't think so. I think
an
if they were going
to version for Xbox at least.
No, I don't think so because I think the current version is already enhanced. I don't think
they did that PS4 generation port or whatever it was.
Yeah, they did like I don't see the look. It feels like 10 years does not feel like it's been enough time. With the amount of times it's been re-released and memed,
yeah,
I can't imagine the fact that there was a world 12, 13 years ago where Skyrim didn't exist.
I'm holding out hope we're going to get Skyrim for Playdate. So
for Playdate,
I'll have to buy one for sure. Then I'll have to go on. So then we got to the stuff I was talking about before. So Fallout 76, they announced that there's an expansion coming. Steel Rain, July 7th. There's a Expeditions: The Pit coming out 2022. So the Steel Rain thing seems to be another one of the single player expansions, which of course was a big part of sort of keeping this game alive, giving people what they wanted. So must be working since they're making another expansion for single player. The Pit is not single player content, so they're kind of keeping a mix of stuff going here. But I mean, if they're still working on it, people must be playing it.
Like a new map, right? Is from what I understand.
Yeah, it's like a raid thing or something, whatever. I think Expedition.
You know what?
Okay, you go to Pittsburgh or something.
I think so.
It every now and then Kieran gets hit with a slight amount of FOMO.
From
Just
who?
Every now and then it happens.
Who's playing Fallout 76?
Nobody's
Watching
playing
this trailer?
Fallout 76.
Okay.
Watching this trailer, like part of this trailer, I was like, damn, kind of want to play that. I'm not actually going to because fuck that. But the Brotherhood of Steel has always been one of my favorite parts.
On Game Pass, it's right there.
Well, that's true.
That's his impression.
Within an hour, you could be playing Fallout 76.
Within an hour, I probably would be a lot quicker than that. Actually, I have good internet.
No, but then starting up all the game, the intro is very long.
Oh, so you included the intro in the I see. You know what? Good on you, actually.
The creator character and the
You still have your copy, Ash, or do you trade in?
Probably.
You've got it. You don't trade in games, do you?
Not really.
No, yeah. So.
He doesn't
You
trade.
never know when we might want to,
Exactly. Ashley
when
doesn't
a game gets revived.
He doesn't want to be put in a weird situation where he has to go out and buy a game again that he's already traded in.
I can tell you something that happened to me this week, actually, on this quick side tangent. So Jedi Fallen Order comes out in PS5. I was like, oh, I wonder how it plays at 60 frames per second. Went looking for my copy, got rid of it. I was like, all right, well, there's that over. So I was going to try out the 60 frames mode and come on here or write an article or something and be like, I like the game better, or it's still the same opinion from me, sirs. But yeah, no, didn't happen. Don't have the game. So yeah, unlike Ash, I was like, nah, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, I might jump back into Jedi Fallen Order.
You want to finish it? Yeah. Might as well, eh? You're the one that liked it more,
Sure.
wasn't you?
I can't remember.
I don't remember. Well, how far did you get? Do you even remember?
I can't remember.
Okay, very good.
I went back to Kashyyyk.
Okay, like 2/3, I guess. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
I was only up to Kashyyyk for the first time.
Oh, you're like not even halfway.
I'm not even halfway. No.
Oh. Next thing they had, Elder Scrolls Online, is just a trailer saying yes, it's coming to the Series XS enhanced or whatever their wording is version.
Enhanced
Comes out June 15th, so tomorrow. Party Animals was the next game we got a trailer for. So I'd never actually seen this before, but when I googled it, it turns out a lot of
yes,
it was like they gave it to a bunch of influencers, streamers like a year ago, and everyone was streaming it, apparently creating content for it, and then it was like a very short period where they was sort of using streamers, influencers to promote it or whatever, and like beta test it at the same time. And people are like, fuck yeah,
this demo on Steam.
Yeah, like
October last year.
People are like, this looks hype. But it's apparently still being worked on, even though it's one of these games where you're like, it's been a year. Like how? And by the way, the release date's for 2022. So I'm like, fuck, how much work is going into this game? Anyway.
Well, it's only like I remember Gang Beasts. I remember the first time I saw Gang Beasts, and then
Gang Beasts took 10 years to come out as well. So, but without knowing that this had already been a game, this trailer starts, and I'm like, Gang Beasts, and then I'm like, Gang Beasts ripoff, and then it gets to the end. I'm like, party animals looks like fun, but I like
cease and they're probably what's taking so long? It's them battling the cease and desist from the creators of Gang Beasts.
Yeah. Because it very much is that physics stuff of Gang Beasts or like Fall Guys or whatever, that.
It is Gang Beasts with furry animal skins and projectiles.
And, weapons of some sort.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That's it. That's the only difference.
Like, I'm down. Is my...
It looks adorable.
Yeah.
It's, as someone would say,
#cuties.
It's a #cuties game.
Yeah. I know Cherie did give this the certified #cuties because she did.
Oh, it's already been certified.
She did watch the show, so I can confirm.
Cool. They're going to put that on the box.
Is a # certified.
#cuties.
I want to play it.
Put it on a shirt.
I was just very confused for a while there. That was my only thing. So yeah. Anyway, it's coming out next year, which is disappointing because I feel like if they'd played this trailer and they're like, and out now.
And it's out now.
That would have been one of those games when everyone jumped off the stream, they would have downloaded it and brought it straight away. So it's like, damn, I hope when they release it, it's tied into another stream or event or something, because that's a really good way to get people to buy these sorts of games is releasing it at this. It's a good shadow drop, this sort of game. Next.
That, or you do the same thing they did with Fall Guys and have like a
pre-release,
free weekend or whatever.
Well,
trial weekend. Yeah,
Fall Guys had that period where they was only giving codes to media and influencers and whatever, and that was for the first couple days, and then they started giving away codes via Twitter. So you had all these people streaming it. People were suddenly like, "What's this game? I want to play it," and then they were like, "Oh, we got codes to start giving away now. Just retweet, follow us on Twitter." So then, that was a really good way for them to drum up excitement and whatever else. They did quite well.
Yeah, and then it gets released on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Win-win for everybody.
They did well. The next game, Hades. So Hades, Explosion Network's Game of the Year 2020, was confirmed to be coming to Xbox One, Xbox XS, August 13th. It's coming to Game Pass, day one. Also, quick side note, even though I know we're talking about Xbox, but it's important for us. It's coming to PlayStation on the same date as well, which is good. So, for all the people who are like, I don't want to play it on PC, I don't want to play it on my Switch, or you don't own those things, get ready, because you're about to play one of the greatest games that you've played in some time.
Do you know, because I've seen mixed messages, does the physical copy come with a download code for the game, or is it a disc?
To me, in the press release I read, it sounded like it was just a normal game.
I think it's a physical disc because wasn't when they released.
No, I saw someone else mention it.
No, because
code.
No, because when they released Bastion physically, that was a disc.
See, because I'm tempted to get it physically because it's got the cool art book and first run we'll get the metallic foil.
Why does it?
But then I would just want to have it on the PS5 all the time, so I can just flick over and start playing.
Yeah.
So you'd much rather it have a digital code
copy, yeah.
Right.
I don't know. You'll find out soon. But to me, it sounded like it was a disc. So because usually if it's a code, they make sure to go, hey, just say no. There's no discs in this. It's just
no disc. Yeah.
It's just a code. So I feel like
did anybody
if only we knew somebody who worked in retail at a
and let us
game
know,
place and let me know.
I don't think anyone would be able to let you know.
It's a shame.
It comes out in a month. It's still a month away. They probably don't have them. No stores have these sitting in the back as of today. So
I don't know.
I don't think that's how these things work.
August 13th is only like 2 months away.
So
that's fine. Just a little.
That's a little while.
Did anybody else get chills listening to the soundtrack again? And I was like, man, fuck, I love that soundtrack. It's so fucking good.
Well, I can tell you the physical copy comes with a code to download the soundtrack. So.
Yes.
See,
maybe that was the code that they were talking about.
This is the type of game that I would buy a record player and get the soundtrack on vinyl for because, that shit.
I believe you can, right?
You can.
So hard.
Yeah.
It's
really expensive though. So.
I would pay that money for it because
but I'm keen. Obviously, I want to play it. I want to play it on PlayStation, obviously, because I want to try and get the plot potentially. The one disappointing thing I can confirm that sort of hit on their website. You cannot transfer your save from PC to either Xbox or PlayStation. Or
Why
on
would you
Switch.
want to?
That's good.
So I could just continue
Because then you earn the plat.
Because I
Probably.
would have unlocked like 2/3 of the trophies, and I could have just continued to work for. The rest
No,
of
that sounds lazy.
it
That
is
sounds
lazy.
Yeah.
I played the game. It's not cheating. I don't.
lazy.
It's
Just
not,
do it again.
It's not lazy.
Then-
It's. I don't want to. I have a limited fucking time. I just want to get the plat. Just give me the plat.
As if you're gonna. But the thing is, you're gonna be good enough to do
Listen,
this.
you don't want to
in
cheat
less
yourself.
runs.
No, I do.
You're gonna do it in less runs. No, you don't, Dylan. Hades is just that good.
Look, hey, you didn't even get the. Did you end up getting that final ending?
I play it every now and then, though. Like I chip away at it. It's like my.
So don't
I
be
don't have
telling me
anything else.
that because don't be telling.
the thing
me.
is, I don't want to.
Why would I try and get the final ending on a platform where I don't get a platinum trophy?
What are you saying? I've got the final ending. I'm the one who wants the trophies, and I've done it on the PC with no trophies. But I kept hoping because it pops the
Hey, you got Steam Chivos, did you? Or did you play on
Epic
Epic?
Achievos.
You got Epic Chivos,
Yeah.
right?
Are there epic Chivos now?
Yeah, not for older games, but
Yeah.
some they have. Yeah.
Some of them, yeah.
And Hades is their like golden child game because it's been there since the beginning. So
Don't
Since
die,
Epic's Game Store, it was their big thing where they're like, "Hey, Hades is
That's what
the
I
Epic
launched
Game
with,
Store." Come.
anyway, I'm gonna play it again. Obviously, I'll try to go from the platform start. But if there wasn't options to transfer and save, I would have just done it and saved my time. I wouldn't have cared what you said or anyone else
Saved your
fucking said.
time.
0 fucks. You know when I popped that Spider-Man?
Oh yeah, that was fine.
Oh, that's fine, is it? That's fine.
That's fine because it's not like it's not a different experience.
What, the controller makes it a different experience?
Yes,
Yep.
it does. Yes, it does.
Oh, you fucking lose your goddamn
The
mind.
Rumble will change everything.
Next game that they showed was
Will you get but if you get it on PS4, you'll be able to transfer your save over to PS5 with a free upgrade.
I assume
Will it be separate PS4, PS5
I
transfers?
don't know.
Oh God.
I don't know. Just
We
stop.
can talk about this on Play.
Just
Let's move
stop.
on.
Somerville was the next game that was announced. It's coming from one of the people that made Limbo, who left that studio and has started this studio, which they called Jump Ship, which is quite funny. I'm going to leave a place, name my new place Jump Ship, and make a game that seems like the evolution of the style of Limbo type game. So take from that what you will.
Yeah.
Personally, I read into it and say they weren't very happy when they left Play Dead or whatever the fucking place is. But either way, Somerville looks very cool. So it's about a game in which a family's fighting to survive in some sort of apocalyptic thing. There's like some sort of monster obviously chasing them and all that stuff going around. Almost has like another, I think what's that game called? Another World, like the really, really old side-scrolling one. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. But it kind of has like Another World style stuff to it. I don't know, like lots of different environments. There's a dog, presumably you can pet it. I don't know. Very, very cool art style. Cool, nice vibes. I don't believe, unless I missed it, you don't see the monster. It's just teased, obviously, at the end and whatever else. But seems like aliens, possibly War of the Worlds type thing. There's like lasers and space monsters coming and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I really, really like this trailer. I'm very, very keen for this. Kieran, what do you think of this Somerville?
I think it looks cool. I think it really does strike that same kind of feel of Limbo and has that same kind of aesthetic overall, especially with the scenes with more kind of use of darkness and light casted in from other forms. I think is always really fun in these games. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to see what they do, and just to see if this story makes more sense than Limbo does.
I'm going to presume so, because this has a more realistic look to it.
Maybe that's why they jump ship.
Possibly. They wanted to do a story that makes more sense.
That made sense.
That makes sense. That people could understand.
What do you think, Ash?
Yeah, cool concepts.
Not for
cool
you.
art design. No, we'll see.
This
Yeah,
it doesn't look
aliens,
too
maybe
scary
it's
yet.
like-
It's not writing the... Doesn't automatically
yet.
get banned off that
Yeah.
Ash thing. Yeah. Alright, so then we got into a weird place, I thought, for it, but it was a good showing, I think. So they had Halo shot, and they started it with a short thing that I wasn't sure if it was an official moment from the... It was a clip they made for the show, or if it's actually from the single player. I couldn't figure it out. But either way, it started with the Master Chief busting his way through a bunch of ships in space, and then getting introduced to a new AI that's not Cortana, and then we got to the meat and bones, which is the multiplayer stuff. But I didn't really take anything much away from that. I know Cortana's dead. Like, I know that's a spoiler that I'll get to when we ever return to playing those fucking games. But
is she there?
I don't want to spoil.
Or is she just living on in every single Windows?
How about
10?
no. Okay, how about all right? The
all Windows PCs.
So that line that Cortana is dead is news to Halo fans.
Okay. But how do I know she's dead without playing the games? Like, I've always heard people say like Cortana's dead. So, or was that just people assuming that she was dead?
I think so, because I don't think now I'm like, do I remember Halo 5 properly? I think I
don't know, because I knew that. Like, that was one of those things where you know how you know stuff about some games you don't play because just people talk about them, especially if they're bigger games. I was like, yes. I knew Cortana was dead, or I thought that was just common knowledge or whatever. So, don't know. Maybe I have foresight. I didn't even realize I was just seeing.
Yep, I just looked up. Cortana is dead on Android and iOS today. Oh no, that's not. That's
on Android and. So, you know what? Even if that is a bit, that is like maybe one of your best.
That
bits
was not
a
bit. That was legit him like reading.
No, that was totally a bit
as he was reading it.
I read the entire headline and delivered it like
he
that.
He didn't read ahead, and he read it out loud, and that's what happened.
He wants to make sure it comes off as a bit, you know.
But all right, so getting into the multiplayer, which was the crux of this focus, they for disappointed, whatever, about the single player stuff. I think we'll get to that eventually, but they showed multiplayer, which they haven't yet. They reiterated again that multiplayer is a separate component. It is free to play. It will be now launching at the same time as the single player, which before they were like, when they were originally trying to launch Infinite with Series XS, they were doing a whole single player with that, with the console. Multiplayer comes later. Now they're saying both components will come at the same time. No official release date. They said it's this year. They said it's this holiday season, roughly like that. I think it's fine. They haven't locked in an official date. I just take that as them not wanting to shoot themselves in the foot if they have to delay it. Fine by me. They feel comfortable enough to say it's this year. They just don't feel comfortable enough to lock in that exact number. I have no problem with that. As someone who's only ever played Halo multiplayer 2, 3 at different people's places, but obviously I don't have like much experience other than just playing split screen stuff like that. I thought this looked pretty good. Especially like if the multiplayer looks this good, the single player is only going to look better. So I think that kind of shoots all the people down who were complaining about the presentation of the single player stuff last year, because I think this looks.
They nailed the look of the Master Chief suits. So
there's lots of I think the environments looked really good. I think the suits look really good. I thought the animations looked good. I think the particle effects off the guns and weapons look really good. I think overall the quality of the multiplayer here looked quite good. I think the grapple hook is really cool, grappling up to a ship and like jumping in, all this sort of stuff. There was enough here that made it go, all right, this looks like Halo multiplayer, what I know to be Halo multiplayer, but also there's enough here that looks like it's adding to keep it fresh and exciting while also not completely making it not feel and look like Halo multiplayer. The big question is going to be, when we actually get down to it, is Halo multiplayer and what is Halo multiplayer? Is that exciting in the year 2021? I don't think we're going to be able to answer that until people are actually playing it in a beta potentially or an alpha or something like that. Then people start being like, I don't know, like maybe this multiplayer doesn't shape up compared to other shooters we have these days, but we shall see. But for the most part, I thought this was a good showing for the multiplayer. What do you think, Kieran?
I'm super excited. I'm excited for both the single player and the multiplayer. Halo multiplayer is always fantastic and always a lot of fun. Even when they have made kind of large gameplay style changes to the multiplayer, I think it's always kind of kept that core nature of what Halo is as a multiplayer game, is that fast, fun game that actually it's very odd. A lot of the times in multiplayer games, I really don't like, your capture your flags, your King of the Hills and stuff like that, because I don't think it works very well in other games. But I think Halo does it perfectly, that Halo has that style of fast-paced action kind of gameplay that plays off with it. I always think I'm probably a little biased because I spent much of my kind of growing up playing in large lobbies of friends, playing like Halo Zombies and Infection modes, where I think where that kind of game mode grew up was in Halo, and it spawned from there. So I'm really excited. It's good that they've gone free to play. I think it's great that Game Pass is there for the single player mode, but multiplayer everybody can play, and it's available for everybody on PC and console on Xbox. So it looks fantastic, and I'm really, really glad that they are still confident enough to stick to 2021 as the date, but at the same time they are well thought enough to stop themselves from putting a date on it and then kind of having that mass hysteria and everything around dates that we get nowadays. So Halo is going to be fantastic, and I do hope it comes out this year.
Ash, did you have any real thoughts?
Yeah, I think obviously it looks good. Obviously brings back a lot of nostalgia for the original Halo that I played with friends. I was the guy catching the flag and then getting driven to the other side of the map and not doing anything,
That's so funny.
Yeah, or just running straight down the map and hoping somebody else kills the other guys.
Or there's like the one time where you accidentally got on the mongoose first and your friend has the flag and you instantly fuck it up and your friend is like, never again.
Yep.
Never again.
Sounds about right. Interesting, obviously confirming the free-to-play multiplayer. That says to me that there's the potential, if Halo campaign isn't ready, they could still launch the multiplayer this holiday season. It sounds like they mentioned Season 1. That would imply potential for a battle pass, which would make sense as to how they make their money back for the game. I don't know how you would do a battle pass in Halo. Do you just get different colored suits or different emotes? I don't know.
Yep.
It's there's a lot of cosmetics, and there's always been a lot of cosmetics. Like technically, Halo's always had a battle style type of leveling system where as you gain more XP, you unlock different armor sets and different like pieces of armors and stuff like that, and different weapon skins and stuff like that. Like I think Halo's done that for a very long time, since maybe Halo 3. So the battle pass being incorporated into it makes a lot of sense, and especially with them showing like the Bushido style armor, which they've done very similar things in the past with Halo. I think that kind of stuff works really well with that kind of battle pass system.
That makes sense. So yeah, could be a big thing for Xbox.
We may know more tomorrow as of recording. Like now when this is coming out, they're expanding some more on the multiplayer, or there's some sort of multiplayer thing happening at E3 tomorrow, I believe, or like on the.
Or is that they've got the extended?
No, I think
edition
that's
of this.
its own thing. I think they're doing it at E3 tomorrow. They're doing a segment on multiplayer. At least talking to someone about it. I don't know if that's just for 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So anyway, you never know when they're going to drop these details. Someone could turn up on the IGN show tomorrow or the next day, and explain, because that's how E3 always worked. I don't know if that's how it works these days, but that's how these things.
There was other panels running.
Yeah, like E3 used to have their conferences, and then the developers would go around to IGN, GameSpot, who would have their little shows on the show floor, and they would expand details, and you would learn stuff.
I remember those. Yeah,
remember that was a thing that used to happen. Anyway,
crazy.
Remember how E3 wasn't just 3 days, as much as people like to believe it was. Next thing they had here was Diablo 2 Resurrected. So it's coming to consoles or Xbox as well. September 23rd, 2021. They confirmed 8-player co-op on the console, cross progression with the PC version. The game will run at 4K, 60 frames per second. Cool. I guess if you want to play Diablo 2, looking a little bit prettier or nicer. Not something I'm particularly looking forward to, but there you go. If anyone cares for it. Kieran, do you care?
I think it's gonna be like the weirdest experience playing like Diablo on like a flat screen TV. Considering,
that's how I played Diablo. That's how I played Diablo. What was the last one? 3? 4.
Diablo 3. You know what?
We played it on PlayStation.
Sorry, we did play it on PlayStation. I mean more Diablo 2, where it's that style of aesthetic and everything. Which when I played it on PC, that aesthetic itself and maybe its age limitations made the game feel a lot more claustrophobic, a lot more closed in, a lot more darker. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
That was just a crappy monitor. You could turn the brightness up, would have been fine. Next game they had a trailer for, announcement, reveal, Plague Tale Requiem. So the sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence In case you couldn't tell, this was a Plague Tale game. I could tell it was a Plague Tale game about 25 seconds in when a flood of fucking rats just started coming down this street. I was like, all right, it's Plague Tale, I guess. So it's coming to Xbox XS, Xbox One, and PC in 2022, and will be included on Game Pass on day one. So this is one of those scenarios where I was on this podcast, Arcade Couch, hyping up that game for quite some time. I spotted it amongst E3. It wasn't shown in one of the presentations. I spotted it like it was on the show floor, and I was like, damn, this game looks great. And then it released, and there was something else out, and I had to play that instead. And then I never got around to playing it, and I still haven't got around to playing it, and I still want to play it. Never happened. But I was watching this trailer. I was like, cool, at least I know the kids don't die by the end of the game, I guess. What else?
Well, that's I have it downloaded on my Xbox.
Well, the first one's on Game Pass at the moment.
Yeah, my dad's been playing it on my Game Pass,
yeah.
so it's one of the things where I want to go back to it and play it, and I think this is exciting to see that, like, man, more hardware, and we're like a more kind of proven studio now. Sweet, we can increase the amount of rats on screen.
Yeah, well, the first game has so many rats.
Infinite rats.
So.
Infinite rats.
Yeah, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, but, yeah. I'm keen. It's good. It's good
for people to actually play the game and enjoy it if they actually play it.
Yeah, I heard it's good if you play past the first chapter. So
yeah.
So then we have after that Far Cry 6, which is at every show.
Everything.
During E3. I don't really know how much we need to talk about this, to be honest. The game's release date is the same. It's October 7th. They had the dog in this. I can't even, like, whatever. Far Cry, it's at every show. Are you playing it? You're playing it.
It's reaching point of oversaturation.
Yeah. Xbox has spent a lot of money. Ubisoft has spent a lot of money to
but at the same time, oversaturation, I feel like this is the same oversaturation of all Far Cry games for the last, like,
oh yeah,
5-6 installments.
Ubisoft does this all the time. They oversaturate, like, whatever big release they've got for the end of the year.
Must work.
Like, listen, everybody needs to know about it in this 1 week.
I think that the big difference is...
Every showcase possible.
The big difference is I sit here tired as fuck watching all these streams and go, fuck off, I've seen this game 6 times today. Whereas other people may only watch 1 or 2 of these streams, and they may only catch it once or twice, so they don't get bothered. So that, like, I'm as much as I'm sitting here like, fuck this game, I'm seeing it a bit. Yeah, I'm being cynical, but also I understand that that's the reason.
It's the shotgun effect. You spray as many pellets in like a spread out pattern.
Yeah. Most people don't watch all the E3 shows unless they work in the
the whole Xbox fan base is only going to watch the Xbox show. Like the millions and millions of Xbox fans. Like it's just gonna.
So yeah, Far Cry. The next thing they had was they announced that Slime Rancher 2 is coming to Xbox, XS, Xbox One, PC in 2022. Will be on Game Pass, of course. The first one is sort of a sleeper hit, I guess you could call it. Like, I know a lot of people like it. Like, I know Cherie likes this game. There's a bunch of people I follow on Twitter who like this game as well and semi-tweet about it every so often. Or, like, when I saw people being like, what's your Xbox hopes? They're like, man, Slime Rancher 2. So, like, there's people out there who have been keen for this game. Basically, if you don't know what it is, like, I haven't played it either, but the core premise is you wander out into these worlds or whatever, and you, I guess, solve puzzles and stuff, and you suck up these little slime creatures into a vacuum, basically, and you take them back to your farm, at which point you make them fuck or something. I don't really know what the...
I will like to say I was disappointed when looking through our article. This didn't get a cutie certification at all. Like,
well, yeah, I didn't QD certify it, but I believe Cherie would QD certify it, so...
Right, okay, that's fair enough. As long as the Vice Chancellor of QD certification has already decreed such, that is good.
Yes, I believe she did tweet out before what game she liked. I think this was in the... QD.
I think that was before the Xbox.
No, she did it after watching. I think it was QD certified. So, but yeah, if you want to play the first one, it's on Game Pass. If you want to play this one, it's coming to Game Pass. So... if you don't want to pay for Game Pass, you'd rather pay for it. It's currently on sale on PC, Steam. So
can confirm she did say Slime Ranchers 2.
Yeah. There you go. So.
It is hashtag certified cutie.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. The next game on the list, Shredders. So this is a snowboarding game. I couldn't really tell if this is supposed to be arcadey or sim-like. The trailer implies it's sim-like, but they could just be fucking with me. in fact, like I wrote in our article, it looks more skate-like to me. Like the way the camera was sort of moving around made me feel like you could potentially control it in replayers or something like that. But I'd like to know more information because I've never really played a good snowboarding game. I know there's been some okay ones, but there's never really been a good.
Some of the SFXs were good.
Yeah, but like
some of the original SFXs.
Yeah, but that's like saying like the original Tony Hawk's is good. Like it is, but it's not. Like I'm talking like modern day, I guess. Like I've never had a modern day good snowboarding game, so I'm keen to find out more. But otherwise, I wasn't blown away by the trailer either. So and it was really weird to see this in an Xbox skin because you'd expect to see this at like Ubisoft or EA, I guess. But you know, someone who does sports games or something like that. So
I was surprised it wasn't Ubisoft because I thought it was going to somehow lead into Riders Republic for a while there.
No, this is just solely snowboarding. But me and Ash talked about that on the last episode. We're keen on that. What's your take on that, real quickly?
I think it's going to be fun. Like it looks really cool. It looks like it's a more well-rounded version of what was that like snow one they did like a couple years ago. Deep, yeah. It looks like a more well-rounded version of that now, with a lot more kind of variety to it, and I think that's really exciting, and should be really fun to jump into.
How do you care? Do you care for the shredders at all, Ash? Or no?
I do not, but you know, I'm good. I'm glad it's by riders for riders. No, for riders by riders, and also that they have a good feeling about December 2021.
Yeah. That's good. Next game in the list was Atomic Heart. So this takes place alternate reality Soviet Union 1950s, where stuff like holograms and robots and the internet and a bunch of other technology stuff has somehow already been invented, and obviously the Soviet Union's still a thing, and that's the alternate reality. So it's kind of a freaky trailer because there's like really fast moving robots and hologram things and all sorts of trippy stuff. It almost seems like it could be like a spiritual successor to like a BioShock or something like that. Really cool trailer. Don't really understand exactly what the story is or the gameplay, other than it's probably obviously first person shooting stuff and whatever else probably. But I like the trailer. It was a weird trailer, but I'm keen to find out more. Kieran, what was your thoughts on?
It gave me Evil Within vibes for how much of a trip it is. Like it just looks like fucking right. Okay, this is what's going on. Like it's like a combination between Wolfenstein and Evil Within. But yeah, I'd be interested to check it out, especially it being featured on Xbox Game Pass. Like these games are like the perfect games for Game Pass. That's just like hella weird, but you're like, man, I've already got it. I don't need to pay for it. Sweet, let's check it out.
Ash?
Yeah, this is weird as fuck.
Don't like the movie iRobot, or?
iRobot's a good movie, but I don't think it's like iRobot.
There's that one part at the end where like the robot jumps up in the air and goes for like a drop kick, and just makes me think.
Yeah, just like the.
Yeah, it makes me think of iRobot.
Yes, it does seem like a shot pulled out of that movie.
Maybe not the rest of this trailer, but just that one shot makes me think of iRobot.
One shot. The future setting of iRobot. This doesn't remind you of that?
No, not really.
No, because it's the Soviet Union.
A little bit different. But so this is XS1 PC, no date yet. So it's fine. And then we got the next trailer was for a game called Replaced. So pixel art, cyberpunk game. Description explained that you play as an AI trapped in a human body against its own will. So obviously playing with cyberpunk themes there of, is a robot, is an AI a real thing? What happens if an AI gets trapped in a human body and it wants to escape? There's some interesting themes being teased here. But I think obviously the thing that I gravitated the most towards watching the trailer was it is really good art. It is really pretty. There's a really great cinematic value to this. Like it's not just, it's pixel art or whatever. Like the fact the camera is constantly sort of moving and like if you're watching the video version at the moment, like there's slight camera shake as this character is moving along the street and stuff like that. There's these subtle details to the ice and whatever else is on the ground. There's a part later where he's in a fight and like the camera shakes as he's being punched and stuff. There's a part where he's like climbing up a ladder and the camera's like full diagonally on its side. Here it is on the video version, but like the camera starts moving sideways or whatever slightly there, and then when you punch the like it just feels like it has a higher quality than you would expect from these sorts of indie pixel games. Like it just looks so much better. It seems like it has ray tracing and stuff as well.
It feels like it has cinematography.
Yeah. There's just a lot to it that looks really, really cool. So I'm definitely keen to find out more about this one. It's coming 2022. But yeah, I'm all about it. It seems like if I watch this in the Devolver Showcase, you'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, when's that coming out? Because give it to me right now, inject it in my veins. That's the kind of game this looks like. So I'm keen. How do you feel about that?
I had the same reaction, except now it's on Xbox, so no. Yeah, it looks cool. Cool cyberpunk. Obviously, I've seen people bring up The Last Night because that was a very similar kind of aesthetic. But, a game that kind of disappeared into the ether. One of the many games that have been shown at E3 is that disappears into the ether. But yeah, cool. Hopefully check it out sometime in the future.
Just on that, since everyone keeps tweeting about it, and I don't have an official word on this, but check out my theory because a lot of people seem to have missed it. You can do your own research if you want to, but the dude who was running that studio, because it was basically one dude developing that game, he expressed a bunch of sort of pro Gamergate views or like right leaning views in like a rant a year or two ago.
He made pro Gamergate comments back in 2014. Yeah, like 3 years before.
Yeah, but then
he since apologized for those comments. But
if you go find his Twitter and like scroll through it, you can get the idea of the sort of where he's. I don't know. You get the idea. He's politically He's I don't know. I don't want to say. You look up his own Twitters and see like he can be a controversial tweeter. I guess that's a good way to put it. He's like, so I haven't.
You would use the term brand risk from
I think because I haven't actually paid too much attention. I just know that like he's like pissed off some people. He's like when that stuff came up, he pissed off people. He's done a few interviews talking about other stuff that people have rubbed people the wrong way. I've honestly never paid too much attention because I was like, whatever. Wasn't in love with that game. I wasn't keeping up too much. But I remember reading all this, and then when people were tweeting about this game, going, "What happened? Xbox deleted it." I was straight away. My mind's like, it feels like maybe Xbox were just like, "Nah, we're good." Like we got offered this of one that has it fills a similar slot. And as of now, the people making this one aren't as Kieran put it, a brand risk. So I feel like that's exactly what's happened. Which, you know what? Business is business. So fucking like, he obviously didn't have a contract. Like he wasn't a first party studio. They were probably helping him out more than he was having them. To be honest.
Yeah. So apparently reported via Twitter in 2018 that they had massive business, legal, and funding issues that have forced a delay of the game. So
yeah. So it's not a cancelled game. It's a game that still exists. He's apparently still working on it.
Maybe.
I went on his Twitter today. It says that he's apparently still working on it. He had some tweets saying like, "Oh, it's very good to see games like copying my trailer from years ago or some shit like that." It's like, okay, eye roll.
But yeah, replaced. Looks good.
They replaced his game. Is what was going to be my joke. So
yeah, I mean the it's a bit on the nose.
Kieran, what do you think?
The quote in my mind throughout watching this, as well as repeated by you, is get this straight into my veins. Like this was the kind of like just the whole aesthetic of this game is just fucking awesome. Like it just looks cool. The music hits right. There's enough intrigue with the story. Look, it's finally a cyberpunk style game that people might actually get to enjoy on consoles. Look, it's gonna be good fun to jump into it. So I'm excited.
Y'all should have just played Ghost Runner last year, like I told you to. So
look, you know what? That's on my wish list on Steam, and it pops up like all the time. Hey, you should play Ghost Runner. Hey, you should play Ghost Runner. I'm like, yeah, probably.
Just saying, I played a good cyberpunk game last year. I quite enjoyed. So
not on console though, on your PC.
I did play on PC, but
Cyberpunk
it's on
fine.
PC. It's on
Cyberpunk
console.
was fine on my PC. Cyberpunk was fine on my PC.
Buddy played Ghost Runner on console and got the platinum, so it can't run like shit. So I presume it can't. You played it, so. Grounded was the next thing that was shown. They announced the next update. It's called the Shroom and Doom update. They're adding the ability to sit, which they pointed out as something apparently people have been asking for. They're adding pets. They're adding mushrooms. They're adding achievements. They're adding a giant fucking spider. All in all, it was a funny little trailer. They were humorous about it also.
Is the arachnophobia mode like legit?
Yeah. That's been in it. That's been in it since
that
day
is
one.
So cool.
Yeah, that was like a.
I did not know that. That's so cool.
They could have warned people before
the trailer.
They showed the
like
giant
started.
spider. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I forgot this game was.
It's still in early access in case people aren't keeping up. Like that's
it's still in early access.
Yeah.
Fucking
Man,
hell.
Obsidian. All right.
yeah, Obsidian. Yeah.
Yeah, Obsidian.
So this is a early access update. So
What are they doing? We'll talk about it.
yeah. Like they're doing a lot. I don't mind. Like usually it came out early access last year, so it's maybe it's hit a year. If either way, it's not like it's been a year or less. I don't really know. Either way, it hasn't been that long for early access in my mind. They're probably approaching a full release at some point. Hades took a full year to come out, or over actually. So you know, so that's cool. As always, I'm like, game looks cool. Still haven't really got around trying it. Maybe I'll try it when it fully releases. Maybe I'll try it when it's right after the release. But you know, kind of looks like fun. Among Us then showed up. They announced that they're bringing 15-player lobbies on June 15th. That seems like a lot of people for a.
It's like 5 extra, but if you did the math, it's like 5 more than 10. I guess the
3 imposters.
3 imposters, which 3 imposters already was a thing, I think, at some points for it. My view on Among Us is very skewed, considering a lot of the content creators started playing modded Among Us like a while ago, and just added a whole bunch of shit that isn't in the base game. So
it seems like they're adding to the base game.
Can I just say something?
The base game
As
now.
someone who's like obviously hasn't played this game.
So someone who hates
No.
Among Us,
I just want to say something. So, as someone who pays attention to what people are complaining about online, just because I couldn't keep up with what people are complaining about. I've seen a thing lately where there's been a thing about people complaining that they're not adding it. Like every time there's a new Among Us like update announced, people are like, you need to add this, you need to add this, you need to add this. Like if you're one of those people and you're oddly listening to this podcast, which you probably wouldn't be because I feel like I would say a lot of stuff that would piss those sorts of people off.
Well, the main host hates the game you love.
But if you are, I just want to remind you that Among Us is being made by like 3 or 4 people. And to say that they can't bring out all these updates quick enough for you and to treat them like they're a fucking 100-person team, you should just shut the fuck up. How about that?
That they're doing these free updates for a game that you paid for 2 years ago, maybe.
That you paid like
$7.
Yeah, that you paid like a couple dollars for or something like that. It's literally a couple people in the dev team. They were all on the Game Awards together in one bedroom. Like that's the team.
Yes. They are expanding their team as well. I know I saw the other day they brought on a couple people that were previously working at Riot to help with this kind of gameplay and mechanics and strategy in their game. I think the problem with Among Us was that because of the quote-unquote Among Us meta that came through content creators and streamers, that's what they call it in the Twitch universe. It's a meta. But throughout because people were watching so much Among Us and consuming so much Among Us, and then the kind of the higher streamers started to mod in their own roles and like changing the game and customizing the game for themselves. Viewers were then like, but my Among Us doesn't do that. I want my Among Us to do that already. And I think that has been a double-edged sword for the creators because they are having to try and keep up with that demand. I think with the support of Xbox that they have currently, I think that's fantastic. They're getting the support they need. I think one of the 15-player lobbies is interesting considering the biggest criticism about the latest map that they released, Airship, was that map was too big for 10 players. Yeah. So it seems that maybe this was a direction they've been working to for a very long time. To try and get these matches filled out a little bit more. But it's Among Us is still a great game. It's still a great party game. It is. There is a reason that it, took Fall Guys spaghetti and ran away with it. Is because of the kind of the content that comes around this game and how easy it is to jump into it. So.
Someday we'll play it.
I'm going to play it soon because they announced that achievements are coming, which means trophies will be coming. So that's when I can finally play it.
It's not on PlayStation. It's
coming.
On PlayStation.
They announced it's coming to PlayStation.
It's coming.
So.
Oh, it's coming. Fair enough. But yeah, no. Eventually, one day when Dylan decides he doesn't hate Among Us, we will definitely play.
I just want to clarify. I was the last person who actually tried to make us play.
Hates that small team.
It wasn't my fault that we didn't play. So anyway, the next 2 things were
I don't remember.
Ueden Chronicle. Something like that. Ueden Chronicle Rising, Ueden Chronicle 100 Heroes. Anyway, it's by a bunch of people, or at least a team of people who worked on those Suikoden games that a very select few people like, and they've fallen over like crazy. So If you like those,
well, I think there must be more because obviously this was the biggest Kickstarter game of 2020. So
No.
there must be some people who care.
it was
about
just
those
20
games.
people with enough money to spare to kickstart. So anyway, that's what these games
Okay.
are. They actually look good. It's I'm just popping some memes. You know what I'm saying? The art style is really cool.
just memeing
Character
with
models
the
are really
kids.
cool. I would definitely play this if I had more time. It looks really pretty and everything like that. Like look at that. Look at the water effects and shit. It fucking looks great. But yeah. It's like announcing two big games at the same time. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay. So I've done a little bit of research around this. So the 100 Heroes is the proper full experience.
Oh, that one's a prequel.
The Rising is a prequel action RPG
Oh shit. There you go.
set in the same universe with some of the characters. So
Boom. There you go.
yeah. So shout out to Shark People though, surround the game. Like Year of the Shark People.
Maybe it is. Maybe we didn't know, but maybe it is now. Next thing we got was Ascent, so that's coming out July 29th. We already knew this. This was sort of a like, hey, you remember this game? And I was like, yes, I do remember this game. I'd like to play it. It's coming out July 29th. It's coming to Game Pass. I will be playing it. I've been keen for this one since they announced it. It's the one. It's the co-op or single player, however you want to play it. One where it's like sort of cyberpunky, I guess, or you're like starting at the bottom ground of this tower, and you got to sort of fight your way to the top of the tower to kill the big rich motherfuckers at the top of the tower. Basically, I guess is the gist. So yeah, I'm keen.
You need to, ascend.
You need to ascend, yes, the tower.
Mm.
So I'm keen for that one. Anyone else care for this? Or
I think it looks cool. I think the aesthetics looks really fun. I think, I'm in.
Yeah, that was cool. I don't remember ever seeing it before.
what? It was at the first Xbox.
See, you lost me there.
Okay. So then they had the trailer for Age of Empires 4. This was a weird one because I just thought it was funny to have something that's only releasing for Windows PC in amongst all this. But yeah, Age of Empires 4. Get your Age of Empires on. Does any of us actually proper care? Not like I played the disc.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, I have nostalgia, but I'm not going to pretend I'm
not just
excited.
I played the disc out of the cereal box of my
I played
Cheerios.
a lot of that.
No,
disc,
I actually.
but-
I actually played Age of Empires. I'm not that excited because I haven't played an RTS in a very long time. But hey, there are definitely people wanting this game, and I think it's worth.
Maybe
being
you can
excited
revitalize that genre.
By Kellogg's
maybe.
team up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
about.
Well, I mean, yeah. Just put Game Pass in the cereals.
Yeah, just a code in the back of the box or something.
And just save time.
But
only Game Pass for PC.
okay, that's fair. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, oh.
The Outer Worlds 2 then got revealed as a game via a parody trailer, I guess is what you'd call it. It doesn't tell us
What
anything.
a move to release this trailer in the same
Yeah.
showcase that you have Starfield do. Pretty much exact same trailer, but serious.
Well, they have other trailers in here that this is definitely making fun of, which is,
It's so good, though. It is so good. I was enjoying the shit out of this
I
trailer.
couldn't tell what this was for the first half. I was like, I thought it was Fable at first, but then it wasn't. So, when it starts out and it's like all mushrooms and shit here, cool creatures. I'm like, oh shit, Fable, here we go. No, it was
Other people said Fable as well, yeah.
Well, and then because they were like, no shit, it's not Fable. Now we got guns and stuff. And by the time you get to the end and it shows the player character or whatever on the mountaintop, I'm like, well, this definitely is not Fable. So. But yeah, it doesn't really tell us anything about the game. I don't think it's supposed to. Obviously, it's just more of it's a thing. We're confirming that Outer Worlds 2 will be a game, which shouldn't be too surprising because the game did critically quite well, and from all accounts, did quite well on Game Pass and whatever else. So, I'm keen. Obviously, Ash is keen. I assume Kieran's playing. We fucking all like.
It's going to be
Worlds.
3-4 years away though.
Probably.
No way.
Wouldn't surprise me. Well,
They're working on Grounded and Avowed.
Mm-hmm. And Avowed's probably the bigger game.
And they're just announcing it. They literally said in the trailer, they're just announcing the title.
Yeah, which is the Outer Worlds 2. Big shock. Really blew my socks off with that title. The only thing
At
At least 3 to 4 years away.
At least they're not doing something like avoiding Bayonetta 4.
the only thing I'll say that maybe could help this speed up is Outer Worlds 1 was actually a rather small game because it has these self-contained areas. So if they try and keep it similar even if they're allowed to take a bigger budget, but they choose to purposely just keep the game developed that way, which wouldn't be a bad idea because it helps keep Avowed separate more as like, hey, here's our like massive RPG, and like the Outer Worlds is more of like a biome based Mass Effect-ish type game, I guess. Yeah.
Question: do you want it to be a direct sequel to Outer Worlds 2, or is it set completely different part of the Outer Worlds?
I would prefer it to be an actual sequel, because like spoilers for the Outer Worlds if you care, but I feel like at this stage you would have played it or haven't played it. But obviously at the end of that game, it's like you're leaving the solar system or whatever it is to go explore,
Earth,
yeah,
right?
or try and find Earth. Is basically the gist. So, I think that's set up an interesting path for your character, our character, whatever character you have on your save file. So, yeah, I'd prefer it to continue with the same sort of stuff. Yeah.
Kieran?
I'm really excited. I think the Outer Worlds one was, I think our biggest like kind of praise for that game was how it didn't overstay its welcome, and I'm excited for them to do that again going forward.
Yeah, for sure. Then we have Microsoft Flight Simulator show up, so it's coming Xbox XS finally on July 27th. I've already got the pre-download going, so that's how early you can pre-install stuff on Xbox now, which I think is pretty cool. Like a full fucking month ahead or something. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. And then they also announced that a free top...
How big's the file?
Massive. I can't remember the exact number, but it's quite big, obviously. And then a free Top Gun Maverick tie-in expansion is coming later this year to both PC and console. But yeah, I'm keen to dive back into this again, because obviously I was enjoying playing it on PC. I was just having a hard time. Like that was a game where I'm like, I don't know. I feel like if they could simplify the controls, and I'm just hoping that here's the thing for this. I don't know how you play it on a controller, but since it's coming out,
dumb it down ridiculously,
which I'm fine with. 100% fine with, and that's what I hope they've done. Because that was my problem playing it on PC, where I really tried, and obviously I learnt enough to be able to fly around, and I flew to my house and all those sort of stories I talked about, and I tried to find the Hobart and the crash and whatever else, but like I did all the tutorials, but I was still just like, I was having to combine a controller with the keyboard and the mouse, and it was like 3 different objects to play that game, and I was just like,
it's as if
this feels like a lot.
It was almost,
it's almost like flying a plane or something.
Like it's like simulating flying a plane or some shit.
Look, I understand that, and I understand that that's what people want from this game, but I'm like, because it's so pretty, and it's actually rather relaxing when you're just sort of you can fly and just chill out, that I wanted that to be dumbed down so I could enjoy the more chill factor. I didn't want the...
So... You want this to be like Microsoft Flight kind of simulator. Half sim.
Okay.
Yeah. Almost simulator.
Almost simulator.
Yeah.
I just want an easy mode. That's what I'm saying. So,
do you reckon there's going to be combat in the Top Gun stuff, or is it just you fly around in Top?
Nah, just be flying.
I think it's just you fly around.
It's just flying around in fighter jets. Yeah.
You probably do like the Top Gun style like training courses where you're like doing flight maneuvers and training and landing the aircraft.
Will they get the license for the Highway to the Danger Zone?
Maybe. Probably have the money. Don't know.
Or Great Balls of Fire, even that could also be.
Surprising.
Will they add volleyball?
No.
I hope so. Man, there better be a volleyball court visibly on the aircraft.
You can fly to a volleyball court anywhere in the world and crash right into it. That's the game. That's how I think people play this game. They pick a location where they want to crash, and you got to find it and do it. You know, except for certain locations in the world, because they had to actually put code in the game to stop people from doing that, because people were being don't do that. If you're going to crash a plane into your own house for shits and giggles, go for gold. But there's certain places I'd suggest not being a fuckwit about. You know, like be a little bit more respectful about it all. Forza Horizon 5 was announced. I'm going to say it right now. This was my game of the Xbox thing. I was fucking like pretty much like eyes wide open, glued to this. Like obviously, I played a lot of Forza Horizon 4. Fucking love that game. Very keen for this. Can't wait. It looks so good. I cannot get over how good it looks. There's several shots in this that just look like straight up fucking photographs. Mexico looks... I love the way they've designed Mexico in this. Like, it just looks like... they say it's the biggest world and whatever else. Like, it just looks really, really good. But all in all, it's just another Forza game. So, another Forza Horizon game. I don't really know what I would want them to change from the last one. I can't remember what my complaints were in my review for Horizon. to be honest,
I feel like
at this
you didn't
stage,
have
but
that many.
I didn't have that many. Like I gave it an 8.5.
It's probably just like England's boring.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. So.
I don't think that was I don't.
No.
No.
Yeah, this is also this would be in my short list of like definitely whatever my short list of my favorite overall E3 announcements have been. Forza Horizon 5 is definitely there. I can't wait to play this. Comes out on November 9th, 2021, Xbox XS, Xbox One, Windows PC. Will be on Game Pass. One thing I'll say, because I know this, because obviously they added that Xbox XS update for 4, so then that ran at 4K 60. I'm going to presume that the X version and the PC version will run at 4K 60. I'm going to presume the S version, if I had to guess, I'm saying this off the top of my head, I haven't got like secret stuff here, but I'm going to presume the S runs at like 1440p, trying to reach 60, maybe around that 45 or something like that. And then if you're playing on Xbox One, you're going to be playing at 1080p, 30 frames per second. So I'm going to presume that's going to go. And everything in this trailer, as pretty as it is, ain't going to look that pretty on one. So if you want to upgrade, now's going to be time, because this looks real fucking pretty, and I'm very fucking keen. Kieran, how do you feel about this?
This, like, Horizon, it's like Forza Horizon is, I think it's always a very special game, especially for Xbox, but I think for racing games in general, I think the attention of detail they do for the countries that they pick, I think is so well done, so kind of, you can tell the love and care they use for it. I love the fact that Phil Spencer brings up that, you know, while this is coming out, I can't remember the other team's name, but they're still working on the next Forza Motorsports.
Well, they announced that before
so it's
this.
not like, yes, it was before it. Yeah, okay. Where they were still kind of, they're still working on that. But I think Forza Horizon has such that like kind of where I think Forza, like the main game is about being a racing sim and about kind of enjoying racing and stuff. I think Horizon's more about loving cars and loving environments and kind of enjoying the time while you're racing around and having a bit more of a laid-back experience, which I think suits this kind of game style perfectly.
Ash, did you have any thoughts on this?
Looks pretty. It's going to be one of those showcase games for next gen as to why you need to pick up. It's worth trying to get one of these new consoles, even if you have to fight tooth and nail to find one. But yeah, I think my favorite quote was on the Kind of Funny stream. Gary would have said he's looking forward to driving these expensive supercars through impoverished neighborhoods of Mexico.
On that though, I saw other people. I saw several other people I followed tweeting that they were proud that this game was doing a better job at representing Mexico than fucking Far Cry was doing it, like representing. Like it seemed less offensive than Far Cry has been, and
What, having no people and pinatas all over the floor?
I'm saying these people tweeting are Latinx people. So, like, you can, like, that's their opinion. Like,
that's their opinion, but yeah.
I saw 3 different people, Latinx people, tweet the similar thoughts that they found this at least more respectful than Far Cry 6 has been. So, I just thought that was funny little tidbits considering it's a fucking racing game.
More respectful if there's nobody there.
Possibly.
Just cars.
Well, there's never any people around because they don't want you fucking trying to hit people. Like Far Cry, Forza Horizon 4.
No people exist in Mexico.
No people existed in England in the last game either, and no people existed in Australia in the third one either. They never have.
That would have been.
They never have people unless it's like a locked off circuit track where they can put people behind barricades you can't get to. Otherwise, they don't have people walking around these little villages and stuff you can drive through or whatever else because they don't want you running people over, treating like it's Grand Theft Auto or some shit. So, super keen. Definitely one of my jumps very high to my list of my most anticipated games for this year. Cannot wait to get my hands on it. And then they closed out the show. Philly Spencer came out and did his whole one more thing, which was good because I always get scared they're not going to do it. And I'm all about a little bit of that hype, you know. I want that one more thing. And they announced that Arcane Studios has another game in the works, Redfall. And at first it was like, what is this game? What is it about? And what it turns out is it's a game that you're going to be able to play by yourself or you're going to be able to play in up to 4-player co-op, and it's about fighting vampires with a combination of weapons and mystical powers, which of course Arcane are known for. Like you can tell their fingers all over this. It has like their stylization with weapons and abilities and all that sort of stuff. Definitely all over it. And the other thing that was confirmed after it, if you was watching this and thinking, oh, this is like a Left 4 Dead or like a Back 4 Blood, like it's a 4-player sort of like thing. No, apparently it's an open world game. So Take from that what you will, but apparently it is an open world game that you can play single player or co-op with friends, fighting vampires and doing stuff. So it was a very cool cinematic trailer. Obviously, we don't have gameplay or anything yet, but very cool cinematic trailer that showed off the general vibe and tone for the game, I guess. I liked it. I'm keen, of course. Arcane putting out fucking nothing but bangers at the moment. So, Kieran, what do you think?
I fucking in love with this game. This game looks so good. And such an interesting concept to go beyond, to use vampires. I think vampires are, considerately underused for whatever reason in terms of video gaming as of late. There was, PS2 era, there was lots of games with like Blood Rain and Blade and everything coming out. But no, this looks fantastic. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Arcane has fucking hella good range. Like Arcane is so good as studios, and even though they have got separate studios working on these games, I'm really excited, and I think this game instantly makes up for the weird feeling of not having Deathloop in this showcase. It's like, well, no, this shit's still happening, and they're pushing forward with Xbox support and having this game on Xbox.
And interject for a sec, they did say that this is a Xbox exclusive.
Yeah. So I think I would almost be comfortable at this point saying that Deathloop might be the last non-exclusive game.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Haven't we been saying that since that? I don't remember who was on what side when we did that reactionary podcast, but I know.
I think we all know who was on what sides.
No, I think we know the sides. It was the two logical people and the one.
I was about to say, because I know where I've been since day one, which was.
Yeah, no. I'm glad that there was always the worry in the back of my head that they wouldn't be doubling down on the exclusivity. I'm really glad that they are. It's exciting as an Xbox fan and having an Xbox. So yeah, no, this further cements that up and recently I was a bit worried about my Xbox because I haven't touched it and haven't really used it, and this especially capping off this show and then knowing that they're doing another show at the end of the week, I think this kind of helps kind of fill out what's to come for Xbox and is really exciting. And I grabbed it when it launched, and I've played some games on it, but I don't feel bad for grabbing it at launch because I know people are still having issues trying to get the console. So I think it's a really exciting time to be an Xbox fan or owner.
And Ash, this one made you super jealous as we saw your tweet. So
yeah, this is my game of the showcase. Just the characters and the vibe of the trailer, even though it is vampires and I guess it's kind of in the spooky realm, It's less scary when you're going.
It's kind of in the spooky.
It's less scary when you're with other people, You're with a team of people, it's less scary. But yeah, just the vibe. Obviously, you can see the Deathloop influence as well. Like the tone and humor of what we've seen of that game so far. Also, is kind of in here in this sort of hero shooter, team-based thing where each of these characters are going to have their own set of skills, and it'd be really cool, play through the entire game with your 4 buddies or your 3 buddies.
Have you ever killed a vampire with an umbrella?
No, I can't say that I have.
No, that's some fucking good shit right there.
Yeah, I'm keen. I will say though, this isn't me being hypercritical. This is just my look. I feel like even if it is hypercritical, I'm actually, unlike Ash, nuanced on this shit. So I'm allowed one critical thing. I was disappointed that they closed the show on this, not because I don't like it and not because I don't think it looks good. I just think I just don't think it was a big enough bang, and I even would have preferred them to have this second last. And then it would have been really good if they'd had a bigger trailer for Halo than the show. I was really hoping, and obviously they had Halo in a weird
point. They don't have a bigger trailer for
Halo. No, I'm saying, but I wish they had a bigger trailer
in a perfect world. In a perfect world.
Yeah.
But I think this doubles down on Xbox's the Xbox Bethesda relationship or ownership. I think this doubles down on that and cements it as Bethesda is Xbox. We are one and the same now.
Yeah. Because if it hadn't been a Bethesda show, they would have closed with this.
Yes. And we are one of the same. It's not like I think this would have been weird if they had put this in the Bethesda section with Pete Hines earlier in the show. The fact that they kept this apart shows that not only does Bethesda believe in this shit, but Xbox and Microsoft believe in this shit. And they're like, we're going to put this good shit out there. And we're going to put it in a prominent spot to show that we are, how serious we are about this partnership and this ownership going forward.
And also, obviously, talked about exclusivity. It's coming to Game Pass Day 1, obviously. 2022 as well. Feels like, okay. Really? Sure. You know? Like, I wouldn't have expected that.
And it's summer 2022, so that is midway through next year? That's not...
Summer.
Yeah, it's summer 2022
like,
is the advertised
that's what they're in
date.
now,
So that's
right?
like June. That's now.
June
now
to
is their
September,
summer. So
or like something like that. Like that period.
no, because September would be autumn for them.
Well, we're in the summer of gaming. Like, you know, like that's how I remember it. Like we're in...
And it stops at like August, right? It goes through to July.
Yeah,
or
actually,
whatever.
maybe it is August.
It is.
Maybe it's the end of August. Because that's when Jeff Keighley ends it and goes,
Sure.
well, it's Gamescom time, guys.
Yeah,
Like,
it's Gamescom, so summer's
the
over.
summer's over, motherfuckers. It's the winter of gaming now. I'm in Germany. Oh. That's how,
Spot on impression.
Oh, I got the Elden Ring trailer. Look at me. That's terrible, Jeff. I actually like you, Jeff. Sorry. I'm nothing against you, Jeff. I stick up for you all the time, Jeff. And then, yeah, they closed out the show with, as I was saying before, a trailer for a fridge. So, a new system that leaves others cold.
So what are you complaining about?
I want one. Like, I don't know why I would want one,
I'm in.
but I want one. You know, like...
I think it'd be cool. It'd be nice to have in your setup of in your gaming.
So
setup. I think
many
everybody
people are
wants
gonna
a mini
want
fridge
one,
at one point.
Like...
Yeah, that's why it'd be so cool.
Which is going to be harder to get? Xbox Series X or Xbox Series
fucking
X
fridge, to be honest. I bet you this sells out faster than the console did. I like how this trailer points out that it's got cooling
Shelves.
architecture and all this sort of shit. Like, by the way, in case people think we're memeing, just to clarify, because this sounds like it's all a meme.
It's a real
It's
fridge.
a real fridge. Like, they lost a Twitter battle against Skittles or whoever it was. And then, they won one, and they said that, Aaron Greenberg at the time was like, if we win this popularity contest against Skittles or whoever it was, we will make the fridge a reality. Because they've done it before. They were bigger ones though, and they did a limited number for, like influencers and stuff like that. And then people kept asking, and Aaron Greenberg's like, look, if you help us win this competition that means fucking nothing, we will put into production the fridges. Because getting fridge parts is easier than getting video game console parts.
Which, reading between the lines is, hey, we've already got a team designing this
probably.
fridge and putting it into production. We're just going to have a reason for doing it.
I appreciate they
now,
play
so
it
we
into the
see what
meme,
it
and
does.
it's like 100% like consumerism or whatever, but I'm all about it, you know? Like, people were like, your console looks like a fridge, and they were like, yeah, I guess it does, lol jokes. And then people were like, well, I'd actually buy a fridge if it was one. Then they're like, all right, well, we'll take your money, so... like, you know, can't say anything. So yeah, that's the Xbox conference overall. I like just going over all those games again. I'm like, what a bunch of bangers, you know, what a really good conference, what a show. But basically everything in there, I want to play, I want to try, I want to find out more about, like 90% of those games. So fucking what a banger, I think. And just, yeah, as Kieran and Ash had said throughout that, in case you don't know what was talking about, is they did announce afterwards. So Paris Lilly tweeted that he will be hosting a Xbox Game Showcase Extended, which is taking place Australian time, Melbourne time, Australian Eastern Standard Time, 3 a.m. Friday. So back to that 3 a.m. bullshit.
Paris, sleep in.
Yeah, well, he's fucking American.
No, because it's in America where they have to talk about this in the middle
9
of the
o'clock
day.
in the morning.
I don't know if I'll have it in me by that point, to be honest. I may just wake up. But it's going to be an update show. So in the tweet, he said that's going to have updates from Double Fine, Obsidian, Ninja 3, Rare, and other Xbox devs. You could jump onto that Ninja 3 and go Hellblade trailer. I know like Jeff Grubb has been talking about that he reckoned they was going to be releasing a behind the scenes Hellblade trailer, but not a like actual Hellblade trailer, like as an update to what's happening. So this sort of aligns with what he's been theorizing. So I guess that would make sense. And considering I highly doubt this is the extended show that you're going to see massive trailers in here. It's just going to be more of like, okay, so like how is Fable going? And then you'll have a developer interview. Maybe there's a couple new seconds or screens or videos or, you know, quick glimpses of stuff we haven't seen before. But it's mostly just going to be the developers going like, look, this is how far we've been going. COVID fucked us. Like, nearly everyone's probably going to go like, COVID fucked us, COVID fucked us, you know. Like,
this is the stuff that is like set up in a way that is all the stuff that we would complain about taking up time in shows.
basically.
where it's like, man, this should be in something that's more specific for people that care.
But
more.
if this is edited correctly and they're well done interviews and everything like this can still be just as entertaining, just on a different sort of level. Because you go in knowing that's going to be
just
this type
different
of show.
expectations.
You go in knowing it's
Yes,
a interview, not hype show. Whereas the E3 main show, you expect it to be a hype show. So, but yeah, so that's what's happening on Friday. So look forward to that. We're talking about that on Monday. Next Monday's Arcade Couch, I presume, whatever's shown there. So, cool. And then let's get into the other showcase of today. A lot less to talk about, fortunately. But it was, of course, Square Enix's showcase. Square Enix presents Guardians of the Galaxy is basically what it was called. So, yeah, before we run through the games and what was shown here, Ash, what was your overall thoughts on Square Enix's E3 2021 showcase?
Man, great highs and low lows. It was one hell of a mixed bag. Guardians of the Galaxy didn't see it coming. Very keen for that. Obviously, they showed another good gameplay section of Life is Strange. Obviously, showing the remastered and showing more of true colors. But everything else was kind of... I think they did a good job of showing what's coming in Avengers for people who are still holding out hope that can have the life that, games like Fallout 76 have had and, continue to get better as it goes along. But other than that, it was a bit all over the place. Babylon Fall was there, but I still don't know anything about that game. All I know is clearly more important than Bayonetta 3, and then you've got the Chaos game at the end, and then they showed the Final Fantasy Pixel remaster for 10 seconds, and nobody knows what Pixel Perfect remaster means from what I've seen on the internet. So, yeah, mixed bag, one up, one down.
Karen?
Man, two good things came out of this show. Guardians of the Galaxy, even though I think they could have just given the Guardians of the Galaxy first trailer to Xbox or somebody and said, hey, play this at your showcase, and then get them to come here to look at the gameplay. Or as well as all the Chaos memes that are sprawling over the internet right now. Because the amount of times that guy was yelling about Chaos in that trailer was fucking immense. And
But he was Chaos.
It's so fucking dumb. But other than that, this show was like not worth the time you took watching the whole thing. I thought Guardians was great. I'm excited for Guardians. Let's hope it's better than the Telltale's Guardians, but the rest of it was just kind of, this could have been, it feels like they felt obligated to make one of these and was just here's some stuff that's happening.
What's your rating?
One up. Could I do like half or one up?
It's very strict.
No, there's three options.
Okay, one up, one down. Then it's not that bad to do two down for.
I saw a lot of people, and like me and Kieran were talking before we started recording. He was like, "Man, that Square Enix thing was terrible." And I've seen a lot of people tweeting like that was the worst E3 show. I'm going to say now that if you think this is the worst E3 show, you didn't watch Gearbox and you didn't watch the Koch Media one, because they are fucking hands down way worse than this is. Like, this is so much better. I liked half of what's in this, and half of the other half I was like, this is kind of garbage. So for that, my ranking is one up, one down. I overall think this is probably Square Enix's best show out of the three they've done, or whatever it is. Like, I think this is actually, or this was better than the showcase they put on around this time last year during Summer Game Fest or whatever. So I don't see it being as bad as a lot of other people are. And like, I'm not in love with Guardians. We'll get to that in a second, but I still thought it was a fine showcase for that game, and it has potential and whatever else there. People complaining it went for too long. Like, I'd rather them focus in on a couple games more so than have a million games. Like, I remember E3 used to actually be like 10-minute gameplay demos and less games. You know, like, it used to just be more about like, here's a few games. We're going to tell you about them for like 10, 15 minutes and show you actual gameplay and like explain them. And that's how E3 used to be. And then over the years, it's become more like, here's a 2-minute trailer, here's a 2-minute trailer, here's a 2-minute, like, fucking go. Like, you know, like I was saying, I love a bunch of these indie showcases, but it's like fucking a million trailers. Let's fucking go. I'm like, how about we just have like half, and you tell me more about the ones that actually look cool. So I don't know. But yeah, one up, one down from me. Let's get into it. Of course, starting with Guardians of the Galaxy. So this is coming from Eidos Montreal. It's coming from the team who's done like Deus Ex and that sort of stuff. So a lot of people are disappointed that you're not getting another Deus Ex game, but there. Also, I saw a bunch of people going, man, I can't believe Marvel let them make a Guardians game considering how Marvel's Avengers went. I'm like, you don't understand how game development works. Like, this game would have been in development before.
They didn't book this in. They didn't pencil this in after,
they didn't greenlight it after.
Yeah, I was like
12 months ago.
Exactly. So I've seen a couple of really dumb comments, but Ash, what was your overall thoughts on the Guardians stuff we saw?
Yeah, it looks good, interesting. Obviously, Star-Lord focus, which I guess makes sense. Easier than trying to juggle 5 different characters, 5 different play styles. Although it definitely has that RPG element to it, so it could have almost played like a Final Fantasy VII remake, where you switch between characters.
They obviously picked a way they want to develop the game, and they've
yeah, that's fine. It looks cool. I'm keen. Enjoy the writing. Screw all the people who are upset about the character designs because it doesn't look like the MCU characters. Get over it. Nothing.
I'm glad.
Everything doesn't have to look like the MCU. You know, they've had animated shows of these for ages that look different and that kind of stuff. So
why aren't people mad when the MCU versions don't look like the comic book versions exactly? You know,
it's the only versions they know. So it's no different than when the movies were coming out and comic book fans were getting annoyed the movie versions didn't look like the comic books. So now that the movies have become more popular than the comic books, a lot of people, that's all they've ever seen. And then when they see new versions, they're now getting annoyed that these new versions don't look like their versions. It's an ever-turning circle of everyone thinking that they are the true fans of the comic material, even though no one, but are a couple out there who have actually read every fucking Guardians of the Galaxy comic book could probably say that they are the truest of hardcore fans, you know, like.
And even those people would know that the design for
I can almost guarantee the people out there who've read like every Guardians comic would not give a fuck. Like, because usually the people who are like, it's usually the actual proper hardcore fans are the people who are just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I've seen 20 different costumes on these characters. What do I care for a different one? You know, like.
I've seen 60 different artist iterations of these characters. Like that all look different. It's just so I'm keen by the choice mechanic. That's kind of cool. That you'll make choices through the game. Those will have ramifications, whether small and humorous or bigger later on. And the combat looks interesting. Obviously, very influenced by Devil May Cry or something like that. So, but then with the calling in your teammates and having some sort of squad control element to it as well. So, probably going to use all the buttons on the controller. Yeah, I like that they've stuck by having you put you solely in Star-Lord shoes, because that's not just a gameplay thing, it's from an overall design of the game itself. Like, being like, you are Star-Lord, you're in charge of this ship, you're in charge of these 3 other people, you're having to make these decisions of picking between Groot, Drax, or Gamora's side. 4, sorry, yeah. You have Rocket. You have to pick between like 4 people's sides, and they show that like small, they said it can affect you small or big as the story progresses. So it is like you could say that, but you have that in those moments, and then when you get into gameplay, you can switch between characters. Sure, but I think that they were like, we want to make a Guardians of the Galaxy game where we want to make you feel like Star-Lord at all points. Like, it's all about you being in charge of making not only these decisions in the ship, but then when you're in the battle, you're also saying, Drax, help me do this, or Gamora, fucking hit him like this. Like, you are the captain of the ship on and off the field. And I kind of like that they've committed to that and not trying to do too much, because like I'd much prefer that style to developing these sorts of games. It looks funny. I like the character models. Gamora looks pretty badass. Looks like how she looks in the comic books, basically. So that's pretty cool. I've never seen Rocket with the little the tied
dice
goatee. I haven't seen that before in any Guardian stuff I've seen, but that looks pretty cool too. Obviously, Groot looks like fucking Groot, and Drax looks like Drax, basically. You can't really change too much there. But Yeah, the story, they've got I can't remember the villain's name, I had to Google them, but apparently they're a new comic book villain from like 2015, 16 or some shit like that. So relatively new, so that's cool. And yeah, the combat, I wasn't blown away by it because it seemed to be running at like 25, 20 frames per second, which of course it's a game in a game in development. So, but it was kind of bugging me watching it because it was just annoying me. But I know they'll hopefully get fixed because they said it's going to run at 60 on PS5 and Xbox and PC and everything like that. So, but it was just sort of annoying me watching it. It was distracting me from being able to enjoy the combat a little bit. But yeah, it looks like you'll be shooting and going in for moves while also you could see down the bottom right hand or left hand corner or whatever it was, you could see the like the team, like stagger. It's like you activate one teammate's move, it goes on cooldown. You activate someone else, it goes on cooldown. You build up a bar, you can activate this ultimate meter, and a song starts playing, and that's all very cool. They've got
apparently you group up and give the team a pep talk, and then you choose a song to play. And if you choose a song they like, you all team up and do your ultimate attack. If they don't like the song, Star-Lord just attacks by himself.
Oh, sure. It's all very in tone with the Guardians, and yeah. Another thing I like about this is it's a single player game. Like it's not coming off Marvel's Avengers where it's this games of service and it's just they were trying to do all these different things and tell a single player story while having an ever evolving multiplayer and all the fucking characters are in it. Oh, everyone get excited, and I'm pretty sure Guardians are supposed to be coming to that game probably at some stage too anyway, and they'll be a whole different thing. And it's like, but
I don't know, they're not Avengers.
No, I'm sure I would be interested to. If they included these characters in Marvel's Avengers.
Remember, we got that leaked list ages ago. There's still a bunch of characters.
Yeah, like Spider-Man.
Shit. Spider-Man.
Where's that exclusive Spider-Man? But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm intrigued by the concept, and I like the sort of setup of single-player story mode and making decisions and all this sort of stuff. But it was just, I wasn't blown away by the fights or the gameplay. That was the part where I was like, this doesn't look too engaging or interesting to me personally, but I'm definitely on board to want to like this game, you know? And if it came out tomorrow and I had to buy it to try it out to find out if I like it, I would be at that stage where I'd want to know. But yeah, I wasn't like blown away. I'm intrigued though. Kieran?
I feel like I have the burned ashes of Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy in the back of my mind that's like stopping me from being fully into this game. It's still something I buy, but there's still a lot of like kind of things and similarities with it. Like the Ratchet is furious with Star-Lord for making Drax throw.
Telltale didn't invent decisions in games, you know, like the
No, Drax didn't. No. Telltale didn't invent that, but it was just very like. But invokes that when you have that message at the top that says the kind of the outcome for it. That invokes very Telltale-esque kind of things. I'm glad that this didn't end up as a co-op game. Maybe this, like kind of with this and Avengers being a thing, maybe they made the choice to make Avengers Games of Service as part of this because they didn't want two games coming out that were similar in that aspect. I don't know. But I think overall it's going to be interesting. It's going to be good to jump into. I don't know if we're all going to love it. I'm excited that it comes out this year, that they're not, they're not announcing this now to have it released later on or to stall it out. I think it's got a good spot if it comes out this year for us to jump into.
Yeah. We shall find out soon because, it's coming out.
One major request, please. No Thanos in this game.
I'd highly doubt it, to be honest.
That's fair. I'd really appreciate that.
So October 26, 2021, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, and PC. And as I said before, they've said that they're targeting that 4K 60 for PS5, PC, and Xbox Series XX. And presumably that means it'll just run at like 1080, 30 on old and whatever. But cool. That was the first big, like pretty much half the show went for like 20 minutes probably. And that felt like close to 20 minutes.
It felt like 40 minutes. It felt like 40.
I was definitely like...
Loved every minute of it.
Towards the end of it, I was like... They started like playing another trailer after the gameplay, and I was like, no. Like,
the
where are we
wrap-up
going?
Trailers, they didn't
I was like, you should just cut it there. That was sort of weird.
Especially when you're reusing bits that you play.
Yeah, that was the one point where I was like, that was weird. Don't do that. But so the next thing they had was Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. So they kept getting these rumors about these remakes of the originals coming. This is what the rumor was, but it's not what people actually wanted. So they didn't really explain or show off the games properly, which is another annoying thing. So it's 1 to 6 Final Fantasy. each game's getting a slight remake, remaster, whatever the fuck that actually means. They're going to be either sold separately or released in a bundle together. They're only coming to mobile and Steam though, which is a big point of contention for a lot of people, especially because mobile has these games already. They usually got them first a lot of the times, these re-releases of the original ones. So I don't know. This isn't what people were hoping for, and it's definitely one of the biggest letdown announcements I could see from people reacting online, because this was one of those sort of like rumored leaked things that people were hoping, and it wasn't at all what people were hoping it for it to be. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that there's obviously not coming to console and no information or anything.
Yeah, it was a weird one. Then they had a very short trailer for Legend of Mana, the remake coming to Switch, PS4, Steam, June 24th. So if you care about that, that's a thing that's coming out soon. Then they got into Marvel's Avengers. I like how they had like a short break between the Marvel stuff, because they're like, oh, back into it.
To make it seem like it wasn't the majority of the meat and veg that they had. Yeah.
It's almost like they didn't bank their entire company on
what
Marvel.
I pretty much have at this stage. Yeah. So obviously the trailer focused on, they were like, hey, there's a bunch of stuff happening. Here's the roadmap again. But which we've seen before. The biggest takeaway from this time was they showed the actual Black Panther, the War for Wakanda War of Wakanda expansion that's coming out. They still didn't give a date other than sometime in the future. But yeah, like Wakanda looks pretty cool. Black Panther looks pretty cool. Obviously I don't play this game, so still not particularly intrigued or blown away. But yeah, how to use who've actually played the game.
It looks cool. It's exciting to for Black Panther to come out and make it so that the game never freezes.
Wow.
But it's just it is. I think it's really interesting how much they're building upon this universe and actually continuing to follow through with building it and following out and having this content as free or as part of your original purchase. So I think it's interesting. I find Claw's design really interesting actually in this one. So I'm at the point where I'm actually kind of in the half mode where I think there's enough extra content now for me to re-download the game and jump into it and kind of pick up some of the DLC.
It's all free. So.
Yeah, I'm in a similar mood. Yeah, so it's like, this is a lot of content. It looks kind of cool. It'd be fun just to play through, beat them up, play superheroes for a little while. It looks... Obviously, the design's really cool. Obviously, it was delayed because of Chadwick's passing, and you just get that line in there of seeing 3 Black Panthers pass away, seeing in his lifetime. You're like, oh... Yeah. And then it looks like they're going full comic book Claw, like full-on weird, massive monster thing, which they wouldn't have been able to do in the MCU. So,
not yet. Maybe they will in the future. But so you got Hitman: Sniper: The Shadows was showed cinematic trailer for that. It's a mobile game that's coming. Near Reincarnation.
So weird when they don't own the franchise, the Sniper, the Hitman franchise, right?
No, but they
Square Enix.
No, but they did publish it, and now they've still got obviously a partnership or whatever.
No, it's just amusing.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, because Agent 47's gone away.
This was also announced. This was announced a year ago, I think, originally. So I don't know if it's a payoff, but Near Reincarnation was announced. I don't really know what it is. It's a Near mobile game that's coming to
It's
Android
a mobile
and iOS.
game,
and then they've got some crossover with Brave Exvius Final Fantasy fucking thing. I don't really understand what it is. Anyway, that's their mobile. Oh no, there was one more mobile game. They showed a short trailer again for that Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier, which is basically their Battle Royale game. That was announced last year or towards the end of last year, whenever it was as well. Still not a release date for that. I will actually try this when it comes out because I just assume it's going to be terrible and I'll have to see for myself. But I will try that when it releases.
I think there's been betas on iOS.
That's what I'm saying. But, so then we get into Babylon's Fall. So the game that everyone was sort of hoping to find out more about and finally learn what the fuck Babylon's Fall is. We don't really... It was kind of the biggest disappointment, I think, for people who actually cared about this. So it's basically not what people wanted at all. So it is an action up.
Sorry, I love your sentence in the wrap up.
What'd I say?
As you expect, it's an action RPG game, but it's also a 4-player co-op. But you can also play it solo, and it's a live service game.
Well, that was the biggest, So it's a live service game, which I think has a lot of red flags. and has raised a lot of red flags potentially because it's like, what does that mean? In the YouTube description,
you know what that means? What? They're going to be keep working on Babylon's Falls.
In the YouTube description, I pointed out in the thing here, it's like in the trailer description, it says that content will be added for free in the future, including, quote, game modes. Very good. Love some game modes in my video games.
Love extra game modes.
My video games. So, yeah, the trailer did blow me away. Everything they talked about following it just made it sound like it's Square Enix has paid Platinum to get into the live service market with an almost Monster Hunter-y type game that they can live service up, and that's what I think this is looking like it's shaping up to be, something along those lines. And I'm just not... my level of interest is what it was before, which is that, well, it's less, because before I was like, what is this? Like, I'm ready to be intrigued, and then now it's, okay, it's a live service game, I'm sick of them. That's how I feel. Anyone else got thoughts on that? No, he's probably not. Other than jokes about Bayonetta, yeah, cool. Blah, they're funny, everyone. Good jokes. Bayonetta 4, Bayonetta 3.
I feel like we've had the desired effect, so that is fine.
So anyway, Babylon's Falls coming PS3.
I feel like
PS3.
this is
PS5, PS4.
PS3?
Hey?
I feel like it's a game you actually have to play before you can understand whether it's good or not.
We'll see.
Is it coming out on... Yeah. Does it come out on Game Pass?
No.
Oh, wait, this is a Square Enix
PlayStation,
PC.
No. Life is Strange Remaster Collection, they got a trailer, they showed off some differences. It wasn't like stark upgrades, of course, because it's an older game.
It's lighting.
Yeah, it's lighting, slight character model updates. I could see in some stuff, because they said they redid a lot of the actual facial animation. Like, there was talks that they were re-mocapping stuff. And you could tell at times that the mouths were moving more naturally stuff like that.
The character models looked a lot less like dolls or claymation kind of stuff, which that's probably the wrong description, but like it used to. So I think they're more fluid now.
Like it's not a full remake from the ground up, but I think I could tell the differences, and I'm keen to play it anyway, and it does look slightly better. And maybe playing it, and if you see more, you'll notice the updates and animations and that sort of stuff. So.
And especially with the announcement that with the new game, if you get the deluxe edition, you get this game with it. So
it comes out after. This comes out September 30th, and then Life is Strange 2 Colors comes out September 10th. And they did show a short trailer for that again here, where they should have showed off they called it Power and Consequence. They basically show Alex's psychic powers, where she's telling that some guy's lying to her girlfriend or whatever, and then they're like, oh, you could tell her or not tell. Obviously, like it's typical Life is Strange stuff, but just using this new character's powers to explain how these powers work within the context of this game. So anyway, I'm keen for True Colors, of course. Keen to replay the first two as well, honestly, because they're good games. And this all comes out in September. You got a whole month of September. And again, in case people haven't been paying attention, important to reiterate this, I think. Life is Strange True Colors is all releasing at the same time. You can still play it episodically. It will be broken up episodically if you wish to play it that way. But it all releases that day. September 10th, you can binge the game if you want to. You can go for gold. So that is a big change. September 10th for that one. Then we got into the Chaos thing. So I'm going to spend a minute on this one because... so the trailer is atrocious. This is one of the worst video game trailers I think I have ever seen in my life. And it deserves to be made fun of because it was just edited poorly. It just didn't look like... You could watch it and at times you're like, oh yeah, action combat looks... Yeah, like there's intriguing aspects to this. But then you're just so distracted by them constantly talking about chaos. And it's just... Because they edited it around the chaos. And of course it's going to become a meme. It's a fucking meme everywhere. Like... Millennium on Chaos jokes, and it's going to run this game until the day it releases. I think the other thing is that really didn't help this, is they were supposed to release a demo, right? That was supposed to drop straight afterwards. And everyone went to download said demo, but it just is corrupted. You download it, you click play on the console, it says the data is corrupted, you need to reinstall the demo. Except for it's not your PlayStation causing that, it's literally everyone in the world's having this problem. Maybe it's been fixed by the time we're done recording, but I checked prior to recording and it was still fucked.
Probably
it was
not.
still fucked. So I think that if the demo was really good, it would have helped the narrative for this game, because people would have been like chaos memes. Then maybe if people played the demo and they're like, oh man, like all jokes aside, it plays really well because this is the one that was being rumored. And me and Ash talked about leaks rumors for this on Plat a couple of weeks back, where there was
yeah, but even then, it's not what we were expecting. We were thinking Dark Souls-esque.
Well, that's apparently so the inspiration.
This looks more Koei Tecmo.
This is like Devil May Cry.
What?
Like just with
But
like
I'm saying,
the,
from
like
what
the
we're watching,
characters
but this is my
finish
point. From what we're watching, that's what it looks like. You're playing it, it could be a different story. And that's the thing where they obviously wanted this trailer and they wanted the demo to drop and they wanted that to help carry the narrative of this, the Twitterverse. But the demo's fucked, so it hasn't worked out well for them. And now everyone's basing everything for this game based on the stupid fucking trailer, which doesn't show much. But yeah, the leak/rumor was that they were doing a Souls-inspired Final Fantasy action game. Now, that doesn't mean it has to all of a sudden be hardcore Souls, whatever. Like, Souls-inspired could just mean they're going for, like, you know, just fucking bonfires or some shit. I don't know. All right, so now to get into the part for me to stand up for this game a little bit. As I said, one of the worst trailers I've ever seen in my life. Get that out of the way.
Listen, everything around this game, pure chaos.
Yeah. So as someone who's I feel like I can say safely I'm the main Final Fantasy fan here in this couch room. So this game is basically a sequel to Final Fantasy, the original Final Fantasy game. So at the end of the game, like I actually got excited for a split second because it gets to the end and Garland's there, right? So the main villain of the first game, and I recognize him straight away because it's very recognizable knight uniform or whatever you want to call it, armor. Sorry, armor. It's been a very long day, friend. Just let me fucking. It's been a very long day. So Garland shows up at the end of this. I'm like, oh fuck, and I like tweeted straight away. I was like, oh shit, like this is a sequel to the events of the first game because. And that's the other thing. Like they keep saying chaos. Chaos is also a thing from Final Fantasy 1, the original Final Fantasy game. So basically, in that game, the heroes of light they get to Garland in this tower. At the end of that game, they go to fight Garland. They beat him once. Of course, it's that thing where a villain transforms. Garland then transforms into Chaos, which is this giant monster being thing. Of course, the heroes beat him, and then the game ends with this sort of tease of Garland transforming from Chaos back into Garland. Except for it never tells you, because he was corrupted, like he was a good guy originally, like he was a good knight who got corrupted and became a bad knight. And the game never tells you if Garland, when he transformed back from Chaos at the end of the original game, if he would become a good knight or he would be forever living in that castle awaiting for the heroes of light to return to fight him again. This game, based off the trailer, seems to apply, because they talk about the heroes of light, and I don't know who these new characters are. They have actual names, they've said them, but then they don't look anything like the original heroes, and they don't talk anything like the original heroes. They're talking like they're the new heroes of light, like they're talking about it being their destiny and stuff like that. So from what I've gathered from this trailer is it's a new heroes of light who have gone to the tower for whatever reason to fight Garland, who's been sitting there waiting for however many years, because these new characters are wearing modern day clothes, which is an interesting factoid. And of course, original Final Fantasy was like fantasy shit, like old school
high fantasy.
Yeah, old school high fantasy stuff. So there's a weird like meeting in the middle of Final Fantasy lore and stuff here. So look, as a Final Fantasy game and a Final Fantasy fan, I'm intrigued. Lore, story, and all that sort of stuff. The idea of the gameplay, I'm intrigued by. I want to play that fucking demo. I really wanted to play that demo. I haven't been able to. I'm still obviously going to play it as soon as I can. I'm keen for this game to be good, but the trailer fucking sucked. But that doesn't mean I can't say the trailer sucked and still be like, I'm intrigued. Like I'm highly intrigued even, I'd say. And I would love for this game to actually be good because I'm all for weird fucking, Final Fantasy shit. Like Tetsuya Nomura is working on this, so you know it's going to be absolute bullshit, basically. Because he just writes the bullshit.
Pure chaos, some would say.
Do you reckon they gave him this to get him away from actual Final Fantasy?
Yeah, probably did. That's why they gave Final Fantasy 16 to the online people. So this is what he's doing. Anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. Like, does that make it a little bit more interesting?
It did. Yes, it definitely did. Look, the trailer was hot garbage, but knowing how it connects through and some of the intrigue behind it, I guess, is enough to get me interested in the matter.
Yeah, it all depends on if that demo's shit or not. To be honest, yeah.
All publicity is good publicity.
That's true. Everyone's making them.
I don't know if that still rings true anymore.
Making them chaos memes. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's Square Enix's showcase. That is the final showcase from day 20 million of E3 or whatever the fuck we're in.
It's 2.
I don't know, Summer Game Fest, day a million, whatever. Day 14 if we want to count the start of June as the first day, I guess, technically. But yeah, we will be back again. I don't know when I'm posting this. I might go to bed and edit this tomorrow. I don't really know at this stage. I fucking need to sleep, so I don't know. But
you should probably get sleep first.
Whenever this is up, we're recording one of these each day at the moment. I don't know if there'll be any high amount of news to talk about tomorrow. If there is, because there's 2 things, we'll be talking about those. Otherwise, I want to use tomorrow to cover a lot of the indie games that I haven't had a chance to, because these things have been going for 2 hours anyway. And currently, a lot of indie games have me quite excited. There's been a lot of really cool looking ones.
We're going to go through
not all of them.
plus.
I'm just going to highlight. I'm going to make a short list of ones that I actually like, so I'm not just like running down the 70 plus list. I just want to point out some key ones, so I'll probably do that for tomorrow's thing. So we look forward to that. Whoever fucks on tomorrow, I don't even remember who's available. Anyway, and then of course Nintendo is the day after. Wednesday we'll be recording one talking about Nintendo and stuff. So there's that. Of course, follow us on Twitter, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. Join Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord. Support my caffeine, explosionnetwork.com/support us. And see you here tomorrow, next day, whenever I've uploaded this, whatever. See you for the next one. Hope you enjoy them. E3 is a great time. Sleep, rest. Cover your mouth when you cough. Bye.